And we are back. Episode 19.
19.
We are almost to 20. We are almost to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I saw that. We're at like, what, 46 now? 48?
Let me check so that I can give you an accurate, updated number as of today's date, which is 420, by the way, for you smokers out there. Hope you're having a good holiday. 46,781.
Hell yeah.
We're getting there. We are getting there.
It's crazy. I can't believe we're almost 50,000.
We are still going through it.
Yeah.
Whatever this is lingering. For those of you who saw the Navage video in the bathroom this morning, you know that we're still going through it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we made the executive decision to clear out the red room. And as of Sunday, the red room will be the black room.
Correct.
As we are going black and white modern with it. We're going to set up 2 more stations in there. So we have this as our official podcast area. And then our lives, our reaction videos, and then a second area to set up to talk.
Right. I think we should do our like side pieces.
I think everything that we should do should be in a different area so that when we sit down, it's a different recording every single time.
I agree with that. Break up the monotony of
Yep. Yep.
Monotony.
Things are going to start coming in the mail today. I think the thing that's going to take the longest is going to be the furniture because it's not going to ship until the first week of May. Ew. So that gives us time to figure out how we're going to block out that window because we're having a custom shelf built for the window.
Right.
Waiting on Ian to get better so that he can change out the light in the room and then figure out the lighting once we get the desks in there. But can't do anything until Sunday when Mike comes and paints.
Okay.
So, dying.
Yeah, I'm miserable right now. My whole face hurts. I feel like I have a headache that's encompassing my whole cranium.
Hence the glasses.
Yeah, I am.
People are going to say it's a gimmick that you're doing it to be gimmicky for YouTube.
No, I'm doing this so I can actually sit here and record.
Yeah.
The headache is so bad. It's like bordering a migraine. It's not to the extent of migraine pain yet, but I definitely feel it. Yeah. It sucks.
Sorry that you're going through that.
It's okay. I appreciate your sympathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to figure out the prints that we're going to hang in there and how we're going to do that. I bought a laser level today, a self-leveling laser level. I have never felt like such a got it together construction guy in my life because I wasted $300 on a level.
You're like my own personal Tim Allen.
Yeah, except for I have no patience and no skills to build or do anything. I can do it.
Yeah.
I know I can. All I need is YouTube. I have the tools to do everything.
It's just the time you have to allot to do it and the fact that it can't be done instantly.
Right. I'm not fast with it. So what I watch somebody do that can take them 20 minutes is going to take me 3.5 hours because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
So the want to have cool custom shit is there. The want to build the cool custom shit is absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
I would build cool custom shit for you. Like if you just give me the idea, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's things I'm limited to doing. Like I'm not heavy lifting or.
Right.
I'll use it like a nail gun or like super glue. I can do that. Really good with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hammers, not so much. It's always a hit or miss.
Yeah.
When I go to dunk it.
When we bought this house, one of the rooms that were in here was baby shit green.
Yeah.
And it had a slat wall over it. And we've since had the room painted twice. And we took that slat wall down and got to see that baby shit green again. It's pretty bad.
It reminds me of like a 70s shag carpet.
Yeah, it's
the color.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would paint their it's not even like an olive green. It's really like it looks like baby shit.
Yeah.
All right. So, quick house cleaning before we get into the email. We still have some shirts left, not a lot, but we do have some shirts left. The blah 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 shirts are almost completely sold out. I want to say that I got like 2 or 3 of each size, maybe 4 of each size left except for extra large. The have you checked in shirts we still have, and not in abundance, but we still have quite a few of.
More than the blah, blah, blahs.
Yes. When we get to the point that all of those shirts are sold out, or at least we're down to like 4 or 5 of each shirt, I think that I'm going to do a new run of something different. We've also we started messing with fonts this morning. You and I sat down and started messing with fonts because as the channel is growing and evolving, we are growing and evolving with it. And like what we thought was just kind of cool shit that we were doing in the beginning, like we're going very clean with things, I think.
Yeah, I would say more like of a modern feel to it.
I might actually order those lights. I found lights on Amazon that come up and curve over.
Yeah.
That look like a giant C. That I think that I might buy for that other room so that we can use that as our light source instead of a big light. I just don't know if I want that in the shot kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. They would definitely look cool though.
I do like how they look. The snot's affecting my brain.
Yeah.
Too much mucus.
You need more Navage.
Yeah.
My sister told me to eat some garlic with honey on it. She's like, if you're really sick, you can eat some garlic with honey on it. It'll help. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And she's like, then you must not be sick enough. And I'm like, yeah, I guess not, because I'm not doing that.
I feel like just a whole bulb of garlic in my mouth is going to make me just hit.
Well, I think the goal of it is to cover it in honey so that you can't taste the garlic.
I don't feel like honey's just going to neutralize the garlic like that. No. I feel like it's going to taste like garlic with honey. You
could buy garlic pills.
That's a thing.
I'm sure it is. I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. We're going to be doing. So by the time you guys get this, we'll be doing the 5th love language, the last love language on Thursday night.
Next Thursday.
Right, which by the time they see this will be Friday. It'll be next Monday, so it'll be Thursday for them.
Okay.
I also would like to think that, or say that we are working on revamping our schedules, and we are going to be doing the podcast always. Like our content will always be emails. The side show is going to be more book breakdowns, like we've been doing for the love languages. And then the side piece is going to be the conversations that we've been doing. We do want to do more live streams, and we will continue to do a live stream on Thursday night as well as the Patreon lives on Sundays. I think we're going to start morphing the Patreon content to not just be emails and give you guys something that's a little bit more private, a little bit more us.
Like vlogging or something.
Yeah, or just bullshit conversations, movie reviews, like read a dictionary. I don't know, something other than emails.
Right.
Because even though that's what we've built our channel on, like we are going to have to evolve past that at some point.
Right.
And I also don't want people joining Patreon just to get their email read and canceling their Patreon, because that's happening. So if we move away from doing emails on Patreon, or we make people subscribe for 2 or 3 months before we read their emails, at least then we're getting paid for our time, not just...
What if I did the murder podcast for the Patreon?
I mean, you could. When we get that room set up, we could do individual stuff. Like, because the man's group is almost done. We're up to 8 right now. I wanted to hit 10 before I started that. And if by May 1st we don't have 10 and we only have 8 ready to go, I'm going to just run it with 8 people. But we'll have that set up in there so that when we do our Zoom calls, we'll be able to sit at a desk. Like, we'll actually be able to utilize a computer to do that versus trying to do it in here. This is all evolving. It's definitely doing its thing. I'm super excited to see where this is going.
Starting to recruit people to help me with the women's group.
That's smart. It's what I've done. Dakota's been a godsend for the men's group. AJ's now involved in it. Like,
I'm excited about it. It's definitely gonna take me a lot longer to get to that point of doing that.
Yeah.
She told me this morning there's like 90 people.
Yeah.
Who want to do a women's group.
Right, but when you announce the price, that 90 people is going to drop down to probably 30 or 40 people. And then
I don't know, with the way that some people in their gift.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like super chats.
That's true too.
I don't know. We'll see. It's a lot. I want to start the murder podcast.
Yeah.
Before I get into the women's group.
You got to just like watch Netflix and then talk about the show afterwards? Because that would be kind of cool.
I mean, I could do that. Do my own research.
Yeah.
I already have a lot of the knowledge in my head.
Right. Or you could like do the Jeffrey Dahmer show that was on there. Like, for example, you could watch that, or we could watch the Waco thing and like talk about Waco, and that would be kind of cool.
That would be dope.
Do individual episodes and then talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how many people would be interested in shit like that.
A lot.
You think so?
Oh my gosh. I posted something on my TikTok mentioning a murder mystery podcast. And on that, there was, I think, 300 to 400 comments. I would say half of them is I would watch that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wild. I don't know what I would do if I was to do extra content. I thought about like sitting down and reading the thank you emails that we get, because we're getting hundreds of thank yous emails a week.
Yeah.
And it would be nothing for me to sit down and read 3 thank you emails and just talk about it and then shut it off. You know what I mean? So like on days when you have the kids, or days that I've got absolutely nothing going on and I'm literally just sitting at the computer playing in Discord, I could go and knock out an hour of content and throw that up on the thing. But I also think that having those other systems set up in there for us to sit down and go live whenever we want, we could read those thank yous as a live.
We could,
and it would just be like a Wednesday afternoon live kind of thing where we were going live and reading those emails.
I would rather do that because if it was just you reading thank yous
Yeah.
and you're doing it for an hour at a time, I'm then I have to set aside an hour of time to also read the thank yous.
All right. I mean, you wouldn't have to.
I feel like if you're the only one reading that, that's kind of shitty. This is an us thing.
No, I get that. We don't have to read the thank yous.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things that like, it's just content and something to do when we have downtime. I don't have like a murder mystery interest. Like the only thing I can do is talk about books I'm reading and have conversations with people. But even then, I'm not really that interesting of a person to sit down and have shit like that. Like I don't know. So I was just looking for filler.
Yeah.
Those filler episodes that don't really do a whole lot, but keep people glued.
So why don't you find a new interest?
Because I don't have time to find a new interest. If I could dedicate like an hour a week to something, I'm not going to be able to then record about it for an hour a week. Like it would be one of those things where when I have time to record, I can, but when I don't have to, it's not a big deal because it's not a scheduled thing.
Right.
I don't know.
You ready to get into the emails?
Sure, why not?
So this one is called Hyper Independence and Relearning Partnership. I came across your channel not too long ago, and your content has been really helpful to me. Although I don't always agree with you, I love the mutual respect and love you guys share, and I have taken a lot away that has helped me in my relationship.
All for the world to see.
Like, y'all don't do this. Come on. And even if you don't, what are you going to do? Judge me? Oh, no. I'm congested, and I can't breathe out my nostrils, and I don't want my nostrils to drip.
Would you like me to read the emails?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I know you don't process well when you speak it, so... I'm a divorced woman in her 30s in a new-ish relationship of 2 years. I feel like partnership and submission used to come naturally to me. When I was married, I followed my husband in all things. When he said jump, I said how high. Unfortunately, he led us down a path of destruction. He got heavily into partying and substance abuse, and I followed him down that path to avoid mothering and nagging. So I'm gonna pause. That was your choice to follow him down that path. Once you start to see things take a turn in the wrong direction, you gotta go, hey, hold up. I'm recognizing that this is happening and this is not the life that I want to live. So you're more than welcome to continue down that path if you want to, but I'm not going to follow you. Blows my mind some of the situations people will put themselves into because they just don't want to say, I'm not okay with this.
Right.
I don't know what I just clicked. Okay. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship where there's one leader and somebody who just gets things delegated to them. That's our relationship.
Right.
The person that you choose to put that trust on, though, matters. If you weren't the man that you are, I wouldn't submit to you the way that I do.
Right.
I wouldn't help you the way that I do. It's all about the choice that you make to choose who your partner is. It ended up detrimental to my mental and physical health. He wanted to open our relationship, and I listened to his reasons and said, sure, let's try it. Every boundary we had set was crossed by him.
I feel like we've read this.
Yeah? Okay, you just want to scrap it?
I
have like 8 of them sitting in the folder. So.
Yeah, let's go to the next one because I'm almost positive we've read that.
Okay. My face hurts so bad that my teeth are starting to hurt.
Yeah.
This is awful. Do you think it's for me using the thing?
Mm-mm. Have you like tilted down to get that drain out yet?
All right, this one is called New Job versus Partner. And I would love to know your opinion on all of this.
Mine?
Yes.
Okay. You're asking that or they are?
I am. Because I read this and I can see her point of view. I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
So she says, hello, I've recently found you guys on TikTok and I really hope you can help me. I'll start by apologizing for this essay of an email. It is like 5 paragraphs and they're 1 to 3 sentences long.
So she probably typed it up on her phone so it looked way longer than it actually is.
My point is we've received, what was the longest email where we had?
20,000 words, something like that.
Words, yeah.
Something stupid, some crazy long.
That's an essay. That's a novel.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot.
Stop apologizing, guys. I'm with a wonderful man who I have been seeing not for very long, but we've known each other for the best part of a year through work. I know most people would wonder why I'm emailing you about such a fresh relationship, but this is the first serious relationship I've had for 7 years. And for him, it's his first serious relationship within the last few years. I've asked friends and looked at various posts online, and I'm more confused about what to do, so maybe finding you guys was a sign. We currently do not live together, but it is something that we've very briefly discussed. So I want to touch on her saying that, wondering why she's sending us an email about such a fresh relationship. We can work with, you guys have known each other for almost a year. You guys have decided to start dating, and now something has popped up and you don't know how to navigate it.
Right.
When people email us and they're like, yeah, I met this person 3 months ago and we've been dating for a month and all of these issues are going on.
It's because you guys don't know each other.
Right. I've recently been offered a job which is related to a degree I got 4 years ago. It's a conditional offer, as they have to do security checks before confirming the green light. It's also almost £10,000 more per year than my current salary, as long as I get specific working hours, so it would make a big difference to my life. He is supportive of me bettering myself and is proud of me. However, he has also expressed his feelings that he does not like the job I have gone for, but will support me nonetheless.
Did you say why he doesn't like the job? I think that's relevant information.
No, I don't think so. As much as I want to believe him, I can see how much it affects him. I think he thinks he hides it, but whenever I ask him about it, I get a carefully thought through answer which does not match his tone or facial expressions.
Sorry, now we have something to talk about. His
Yeah.
actions and nonverbal communication is doing a whole lot of talking, and his mouth is doing a whole lot of lying.
Okay. So in that situation where you can tell that they are masking their true meaning, how would you approach addressing that?
I would call it the elephant in the room first and foremost. Be like, your words are saying that you're okay with what's going on, and your body language is indicating that you're not. And this is a life-changing decision. And if we are going to be together, I need you to be honest with me. And if you can't be honest with me now, I know you're not going to be able to be honest with me long term.
This is also the kind of thing where, say they progress together, this relationship lasts for 10 years, and all of a sudden he has this massive issue with your job.
Right.
But you've already climbed the corporate ladder and you're making 6 figures a year.
And he's salty about it.
And he wants to be salty about it and says, I have always had an issue with this. And now it's to the point of if it's your job or our relationship.
Yeah.
That would be a really shitty situation to be put in because he's masking his feelings now.
Those things need to be discussed right away. And if you guys are not even 2 years into this relationship. You've known each other for a year. I don't know how long you've been dating. Because you didn't say.
No, she did not say.
But you're less than 2 years in, and you guys are building your foundation right now. And if he's lying to you during the building of the foundation, you are building a house on lies. You can't do that. Like, you are going to find yourself in a really shitty position down the road because he's just trying to placate or appease the situation in the moment.
Right.
Because, maybe he's hoping you're going to make a different decision or that you're not going to get the job.
Long term, if this is not resolved now, it's going to cause a lot of more massive issues.
Yep. Yeah, it'll
massive life-changing issues.
It'll be an underlying issue your entire relationship.
Yeah.
But the why matters.
It does. Every day he asks me about the job if I've heard from them, and I know he is anxious to hear whether I got the green light for this job. He also has told me he does not want me to turn it down just because he doesn't like the job, and he thinks maybe he could be jealous that I'm getting out of the office for something better.
I mean, that's exactly what that sounds like. You guys work together and you're getting a promotion.
Right. My point of view is that at the end of the day, it's just a job. There are plenty more, and given my employment history, I can pretty much do any office-based work and progress where I currently am if I put more effort into it. Equally, if I do go ahead with the job, it doesn't stop how I feel and the quality time we spend together.
Right. So nothing's going to change other than your income.
So I can understand the point of view of, at the end of the day, it's just a job. I can understand saying that when you've been married for 5 to 8 years.
Right.
You might turn down this job now just to save his feelings, and in 6 months, he's not even going to be in your life.
Right. I agree with that.
He could be. It could be that situation, and then you just missed this massive opportunity to blossom, and that door's shut.
Right.
And you might never be able to open that door again. There might be a door like it, but it's good.
I got to be honest, making life decisions based off of another person when you're this new into a relationship is very foolish.
It is. I agree with that. I would take the job, and if he wants to be bitter about it, you can be bitter about it. I am not going to not dictate I am not going to influence. Is that a good word?
I mean, I don't know where the rest of the sentence
I'm
is
not going
but
to influence my life based on somebody who just entered it 4 months ago.
You're not going to allow somebody else to influence your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so hard. Thinking is so hard when your face hurts. Is this what it's like to get socked in the face?
I don't know what your face feels like, but I have been hit in the face.
Yeah. Does it hurt to think?
Not really.
No.
No. That's a very slippery slope.
It really is.
And you got to think of long term as well. If you guys do end up moving in together, you're going to get his income into the home, and whatever you're making on top of that could change your life.
Right.
So if you're a single person making $60,000 a year and you get somebody else to move into your house that's making an additional 50, you now have a 6-figure household.
Right.
It changes your life. That's life-changing money.
It is. She goes on to say, there's a small part of me that hopes either I hit a brick wall and the offer is withdrawn, or they offer me hours I cannot do and forces me to decline. But I know that's just me avoiding the subject and not talking to him about this. I have so many questions.
Is that the end of the email?
It is not. There's 2 more sentences.
Okay.
To be clear, this is not something I would end our relationship over. It is something I'm willing to discuss and work through. So would I choose this relationship or do I wait until I get an answer? And if I do wait, how do I have that conversation before I make a decision?
Well, I mean, if you can't make a decision until you get an answer anyways, because the ball's not in your court.
Right.
I would tell him that, you know that he's not okay with you getting the job, but this is your life. And even though you hope that the two of you work things together and this is a very long-term relationship for you, you still need to do what's necessary for your future.
Right.
Just in case this doesn't become a thing. And you're not going to build your life on what ifs. You have an opportunity to make $10,000 more a year than what you're currently making. You're going to take it.
Yeah. And that $10,000, because they're not living together now.
Right.
So she's paying everything on her own. That $10,000 a year is going to be a massive increase.
Right.
Not life-changing, but it's going to make things easier for you.
Yeah, significantly. But
So-
it could also be a leaping board to her next career.
Right.
If she gets into a higher level position making $10,000 a year, who's to say that in 2 years she's not getting another raise?
Right.
Or somebody like her boss could quit and take that job. Like climb that ladder.
Yeah. Going back to what I said previously, like there's a possibility he's not going to be here in 6 months.
Right.
He could still be a friend, but dating wise, it might not work out. So if you close that door on a $10,000 a year increase, not only did you just miss out on an opportunity, your life is going to be the same. You're still going to be stressed out, all because you turned down an opportunity to appease somebody who
Right.
could be a potential lifelong partner.
Right. There's also a possibility there if the company offers you the job and you turn it down, that they may not offer you another job like that because they're not going to, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
they extend that offer and you say no, they're going to extend it to somebody else next time. It could realistically, it could do a lot of damage.
Long term.
Some people are okay with just skating by in life. If you're ambitious and you want to fucking make moves, make the moves. And I got to be honest, as shitty as this sounds, like taking him into consideration for your future and a year into a relationship or however long you've been in that
they've known each
relationship.
other for almost a year.
Right, but it doesn't say how long they've been together.
No.
So even if they've been together for the full year,
Yeah.
taking your future and you know what I mean, like and putting that in his hands because of something he may or may not like is foolish.
It is. Definitely is.
I want to know what the job is that makes him uncomfortable and why he's uncomfortable with it. Because if you were like, babe, I'm gonna do OnlyFans and make an extra $10,000 a year, I'm be like, no, the fuck, you're not.
Right.
It'd be a lot different. You know what I mean? If you were like working in at Office Depot and they were like, hey, this general manager spot came up, we're gonna pay you $10,000 more a year. You're gonna be on salary. You may have to work a couple extra hours during the week. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Like, why would you give a shit about that? Like that $10,000 a year adds up. That could be, more than half of your rent payment or your mortgage payment every month in terms of your monthly income.
Turning down a job like that too, just because it makes you uncomfortable in your relationship right now. Going forward, if they offer you more hours and you turn that down as your excuse, you're not going to get offered overtime.
Right.
They're going to see that you're not willing to put in the hours necessary to climb up the ladder. You're not going to get offered another up again.
Right. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Especially them being that new. If they were engaged to be married and they've been together for 3 or 4 years and the wedding was coming up and he was uncomfortable with a reason and there was a reason,
Yeah.
I could see that. But not knowing what the reason is, like it's very hard to say. I mean, what does she do for a living that he's uncomfortable with her taking a raise? That doesn't even fucking make sense to me.
I'm trying to think of what would make me uncomfortable for you taking a new job somewhere with an increase in pay. I don't know. Like, even you working with your ex wouldn't make me uncomfortable.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is, like, somebody who SA'd you or something.
Right. Well, I mean, in that scenario, that's not the job that you're uncomfortable with. It's the people you'll be working around.
Right.
And, like, that's a different scenario altogether. The issue is the job is what it sounds like. On top of that, there could be a whole lot of little dick energy there.
Right.
I don't want you to make more money than me. Like, that could be a thing.
That's a red flag.
Well, I mean, that's stupid.
That's a red flag to me. I've dealt with men who had issues with me being the breadwinner or having more income than them. Made them be really mean to me.
That's insane.
Dudes, not all dudes, but some dudes do get really weird about the woman being the breadwinner. I was constantly put down, made to feel like I wasn't smart, that I was stupid, that I only am making this money because I'm hot.
Sounds to me like they were afraid they were going to lose that extra revenue that they were going to have. So they were trying to put you down so you had no self-esteem or self-worth so you wouldn't leave them.
It worked for a little bit.
It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. On both ends. I shouldn't have stayed for that.
Mm-mm.
Crazy. It's crazy how life goes and where you end up.
Yep.
And it's all on your mindset.
Yep.
You ready for the next one?
Sure.
Premarital advice. First, I want to say I love you guys and all the advice you give. I listen as much as I can. Now it's time for my shit show of a letter email. I'm not the best at wording emails, and I hope to not confuse either one of you. I do need some advice. So my fiance and I have been together for almost 3 years. We got engaged in summer of 2022. We are supposed to get married in the winter of this year, but I'm starting to have doubts.
So wait a minute. How they've been together for how long?
Almost 3 years.
Got engaged last year, so they got engaged at the end of the 2-year phase.
He has been a great guy. He has been there for me like no one else ever has. He has adopted my son, not legally, but that's my son's daddy and no one can tell him any different. He works hard. He never misses a day. We split the house bills. And if we do trips or anything, we usually split everything. And then she put in parentheses, I know I rolled at this too. But I've been okay with that part. I don't understand the eye roll comment.
She rolled her eyes that they split the vacations or whatever.
If that's how it's set up.
Well, yeah, you guys aren't sharing a bank account. If you guys are living separate lives in terms of your finances, that makes sense.
Right.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
You know how many people are in relationships where they want to have that independence but still expect a man to pay for all the extras? Right? If he's the bread,
is that really a thing?
It very much is a thing. It very much is a fucking thing.
So what's her money for?
Her.
Huh. Okay.
That's a thing. Like a lot of the tables that you see on all of these stupid fucking podcasts where like women are getting shit on constantly because they have no brain and they just listen to feminist nonsense and regurgitate the shit.
Right.
And you guys can get mad at me on that one all you want. I don't care. But those people have no opinion. They have no thought power of their own. They are literally spewing shit that they've heard versus thinking for themselves. Those people get ripped apart on those shows because they don't have original thought. Those women on those shows constantly talk about how they want to go to work and make their own money while the man pays for everything so they can maintain their independence while being taken care of. And that's not how that works. If you want to be taken care of, you need to quit your job and stay at home and fucking do the stay-at-home wife to make it worthwhile for that man to support you. Because if you were working full-time, we'd be splitting the shit 50-50. If I'm not getting a benefit from you staying at home, why the fuck am I supporting you financially?
Right. You know, as a stay-at-home wife, I could foresee myself doing like a little part-time job somewhere.
Right.
Just to keep myself occupied. Not even then. I like being home.
Right.
But still, I could see like if the man's working and she's been a stay-at-home wife for 5 years and she needs a change, getting a part-time job so she can have her own little spending money is going to eliminate that coming out of the household funds.
Right. No, I mean, I can understand that. But if you're making the kind of money necessary to be able to support a stay-at-home, then the money's there.
Right.
It's not like you need to do that to do those things.
Right. I can see that situation. Like that would make sense in my mind. If a woman's pulling $3,000 to $6,000 a month from her job, and she's still expecting him to pay for everything when he's making $5,000 or $6,000 a month,
right?
That's a problem to me.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, and that's the thing and you will hear it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Like people talk about that shit a lot, and women expect to be able to just work, stash all their money, and have a man support them while they do their thing.
Why? So when they leave him, she can have her own bag and his too?
And half of his, yeah.
Oh. Crazy.
Yeah. I got to be honest, in the current state of affairs of today's dating game, for a man to get married and not have a prenuptial agreement in place is fucking stupid.
Stupid.
And I don't care what anybody says about prenups because people are like, oh, you know, those can be beaten, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they can, and it would cost a whole lot of money to do it. If you've got a shitty lawyer, your shit will absolutely be beaten, ripped apart. But I don't know. It's not worth it.
And for all the women who say, well, a prenup only benefits the man, no, it doesn't.
No, it fucking doesn't.
It does not. Prenups are not a beginning to an end for a relationship. It is, God forbid anything happens.
Right.
We are both taken care of.
The idea of men only benefit from a prenup just goes to show that you believe that men make more money than women and will always make more money than you. Because for a woman that's a CEO that's in a position of power that wants a prenup, how does that benefit the man?
Right.
So why don't you call it what it is? It benefits the person who has the most amount of money from getting fucked. Because that's the point of it.
Right.
You can sit down and have an agreement laid out ahead of time saying, hey, I'm worth $8.7 million and she wants to marry me. And in the event of a divorce for any reason, she's not entitled to fucking anything that I worked my ass off for. I'm willing to give her X, Y, and Z to help her get on her feet, and she can go. And if you're worth that kind of money, she can work and just stack her paper and do her thing. The problem is you know that out of the top 100 female moguls, like millionaire, billionaire women, 95% of them got rich from divorce. It's only like 2 or 3 of them that actually made it on their own accord. Up. Yeah. I'll find the stats while you're reading the email because that was something that came up the other day.
That's crazy. I mean, I believe it. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. That sounds familiar. That's just, I'm self-made. No, you're not.
Yeah. Termsofindia.com. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it says there are only 12 women among the 100 wealthiest people on the planet, and all of them have made their fortune by inheritance or divorce.
Wow.
And that was from May of 2020. That obviously may have changed. I'm not going to sit here and scroll through that, but.
So out of 100, 12 of them are women.
Mm-hmm. And all of the women are divorce or inheritance. None of them made their own fortunes.
Wow. Now for some of the doozy stuff. He has a very bad temper. In the beginning, I didn't see it much, but now it's happening more often. He gets so mad over what I call little things, but it blows up to an extreme. I'll try to give you a little short story. This isn't in detail, but I'll give you what I can. We were cleaning the house. He hates to help me with the women duties. And yes, I do work full-time too. Anyways, so he was helping me clean. He picks up the dirtiest room he can find to start. Mind you, he's already pissed. So he goes in there, he finds some empty bags, trash. He comes into the room where I am, pissed, asks me if they were my trash. I said no. It was his son's, who was 20. He went to his son's room and flipped it, tore everything off the walls, flipped his desk and bed, and so on. His room was destroyed.
I have a lot of questions. They have a 20-year-old son who's still living with them.
Correct.
That is not taking care of the house in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
You got a 20-year-old fucking child living with you that's not contributing. So knowing that the house needed to be clean and he lives there, he should have been out there cleaning with the rest of you guys, first and foremost. As for the whole fucking him having a problem doing women's jobs, I'm curious as to something just fell off that.
Off of what?
The chair. It might have been a cord of some sort. Oh yeah, it's a cord. He doesn't like to do the women's jobs. Does he do the yard? Does he do the vehicle maintenance? What are the man jobs that he does?
Right.
And if he actually has man jobs and he actually does them, do you help? Does he come and get you and be like, come on, you're going to weed eat while I cut the grass? Or does he just weed eat and cut the grass? Like, because that's also relevant.
Right.
If he's doing work around the house and handling his side of shit and you're asking him to do yours, that could be a problem. If he's calling it women jobs, he believes that there's pink and blue jobs. You guys should have a discussion about that.
Yeah. You have anything else you want to say before I continue?
Yeah, I'd make that fucking kid pull his weight.
Yeah, the fact that a 20-year-old is not picking up his own trash. Our kids pick up their own trash. Yeah. That blows my mind. I wouldn't tolerate that. I'd be more pissed off at the son.
I wouldn't let him live there. 20 years old, what are you doing, bro? Like, should have moved out 2 years ago. And I don't even care about the finances aspect. I know that it's hard out there right now. I know it is. I've looked, like, I know what rentals go for, and I know how hard it is to find like decent work. If that kid is going to a trade school and learning a job and is getting ready to move out on his own, dope, but he should still be helping around the house.
Yeah, he shouldn't be leaving empty bags of trash all over the place.
Right. If he's staying at home playing video games and not doing shit with his life, you can't stay here.
And, if this was a buildup of multiple discussions of, son, pick up your shit. You're living here rent-free. I need you to pull your weight. Pick up your garbage. And this is like the last straw. I would never rip things off the wall and flip things over. I can understand how someone can get pushed to that point, though. Especially if he is covering all the bills and he's working 80 hours a week and he's coming home and having to help you clean and all these other things.
Yeah.
And helping you clean is separate from doing just basic living shit.
Right.
There's too much going on here. If it was my one day off a week and I have to clean up a mess that I didn't make, I would be pretty upset.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell that kid, your bedroom could be like a dope ass computer room for me, or like a craft room or a gaming room, or I could put a pool table in here depending on the size of it.
Right.
I'm paying rent for this room that I don't get to utilize, and you're an adult.
I'd be petty as fuck. I'd pick up all of his trash and put it in a garbage bag and then take it in his room and just fucking flail it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So you wouldn't rip anything off the wall or flip tables over, but you just throw trash everywhere?
Yeah, his trash. If I know that he likes to eat Lay's potato chips and he's leaving 40 bags of Lay's potato chips scattered around the house, they're going to end up in your bedroom.
Yeah.
You want to leave a cup sitting out that's had milk in it? It's going to go under your bed.
Under your bed?
Yeah.
Ooh. Could you imagine that smell after a couple of days?
Yes.
No, I'm good. I'm petty, but I'm not dealing with that. Because the whole house is going to smell like death. No, thank you.
I would do that.
You would suffer just to prove a point?
I would, yeah. I'm not violent.
Yeah.
But I am. Is that considered passive aggressive?
I mean, I think that's pretty aggressive. I don't think that's passive. I think that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, but it's not violent. It's
still aggressive.
what would it be labeled as? Is it like psychological warfare?
Petty.
Okay. I'm aggressively petty. And I'm not saying that this man is right for losing his shit the way he did. It is absolutely wrong. You are in charge of your own actions. Yeah. I'm just saying I can understand how he got to that point.
We just made a whole lot of scenarios up in our heads and be like, we feel you.
Well, I get it.
All made up scenarios. We have no idea really what's going on there.
No. I cried and cried. He didn't give two shits that I was upset about this. I don't want to walk on eggshells every day hoping not to disturb him. I don't want my son to be seen. I don't want my son to see this or be raised this way. I grew up in a household like this, and we were scared to breathe because we didn't know how our dad would react. All right, so he is showing you who he is. You now have the option to take your son away from that situation, or you can keep him in the situation that you grew up in.
Right. I agree with that too. I also, so there's something that needs to be addressed there, and that she got upset and cried and he acted like he didn't care. He was angry. So it's not a matter of him not caring. He's dealing with his emotions, and him putting his emotions aside to deal with your emotions means he can't deal with his.
Yeah.
People have to process their shit. You don't get to play victim or be upset and frustrated while somebody else is dealing with their shit. It would be like if I was flying off the fucking handle and you got upset, I have to calm me down before I can console you. Because otherwise you're not going to get consoled. You're going to continue to get anger because I'm just going to continue to be frustrated dealing with the shit versus letting me calm down, regaining my composure, and then apologizing and addressing what's going on. I'm not saying that he's in the right for doing that, but you do need to acknowledge that people have to process their own emotions. They can't do that for you.
Right.
But they also can't really give you the attention that you need while they're going through it.
He has threatened to destroy my car because I moved the air vents.
That's enough for me. That's enough. And that right there, threatening to destroy your property because of you doing something simple like that, I'm out. I don't know, like... I can understand people getting frustrated with things. Like maybe he's told that kid 100 fucking times to pick up his Lay's potato chip bags.
Right.
Maybe he's told him to stop leaving his fucking socks in the living room over and over and over again. Maybe he's tired of fucking repeating himself to people. I get that. So in that scenario, I can understand the blow up after repetitive nonsense.
Right.
I'm not saying that what he did was right. I'm saying that I can understand where the frustration comes from, and how you handle that is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But threatening to destroy somebody else's property, or like she said, he went in there and ripped all of his shit off the son's wall. Like, that's a problem.
It is.
That he's got violent tendencies, and like that's a dangerous situation.
So the last thing I'm going to read is that she says this isn't every day. This is probably happening once every 2 to 3 months. It's just more frequent since we've gotten engaged.
Right. So what's going to happen in 5 years when it's happening on a weekly basis?
Right.
Or every time there's a minor disagreement, he's flying off the fucking handle.
Or what if he starts throwing things directly at you? There's always a progression in violence. It starts off as, I'm just angry, now I'm yelling.
Right.
And then it goes from being angry to ripping things off of the wall and flipping tables. And now it's not once every 3 months, it's happening every other day.
Yeah. But now people are getting in your face.
And now now your son is scared to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm going to respond to them and then we can go on to the next one.
Yeah. Well, while you do that, I want to reiterate the fact that when people send us email, if you paint your picture into being an unsafe situation, we're not going to tell you to work through that shit. We're going to tell you to leave.
Yeah. You need to leave. This person needs to leave.
You know, you're not married. So, you're not breaking the sanctity of marriage by leaving your husband. If you guys have been married for 5 or 6 years and this shit was starting to happen, then I would say like counseling or, therapy needs to happen for him so that he can start working through his bullshit because he's obviously like harboring something that he needs to work through. But
right, there's a root to that.
Right, but you're not married.
Right,
you're 3 years into a relationship. You walking away right now would suck because you're walking away from your marriage. But like,
you need to believe people when they show you who they are.
Yep.
All right, next one. I don't know what to do.
Me either.
Same. I've recently found your TikTok and a time for me almost seems too much of a coincidence to be real. Around half a year ago, I was in a motorcycle accident, leaving me with both femurs and both legs broken.
Pretty sure we've read this one too.
Okay. All right. Topic of discussion. I really appreciate all the topics you both discuss and the examples you set. I would love to hear your takes on a particular topic I struggle with. I have never been the jealous type and was always okay with my partners watching porn. It was very normalized and almost expected. But my last serious relationship of 4 years, my partner repeatedly chose porn and women on Instagram over me. I discovered photos of women that littered his laptop, some who were his friends. He was following and liking pictures of naked and half-naked women. Some pages were very degrading to women. You get the gist of it. Anytime I would confront him, he would say things like, "Sorry, I'm just a perv," and would choose these things over being intimate with me and would tell me he just doesn't have any lust for me, but he still loved me.
Sounds to me like he's not into you anymore. There's a difference between being in love and having love.
Right.
That sounds like not in love, but having love. And because you guys are working together as best friends and life is good, he's giving up the sexual aspect with you and satiating himself while keeping the relationship intact.
Oh, so that's an ex.
Oh.
She's in a new relationship, but because of that, she has insecurities in the current one.
Okay.
So before we move on, I want to touch on the fact that he had photos saved of women who were his friends to his computer.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, because how'd he get them?
Downloading them from Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, so they were not inappropriate photos. They were just photos.
They could have been. They could have been like bikini photos from somebody's Instagram.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went to.
That's creeper shit. That's creeper shit. If you say people's, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's like stalker shit to me. You start saving other people's photos to your shit, like
that happens constantly. There are so many people who will download women's photos from Instagrams, create whole new accounts, and catfish people.
I have never once in my life saved somebody else's photo to my desktop unless it was to send it to somebody else. Like,
yeah.
This guy's got a spaghetti noodle coming out of his nose. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a red flag to me. If I was dating a dude and I would find that he had photos saved to whatever, and they were photos posted publicly that he saved for his own.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Ooh, that's Silence of the Lambs shit.
Yeah.
I am good. And he would say, "Sorry, I'm just a perv."
Well, she's not with him anymore, so that's good.
Don't date dudes like this. Let them be single and frolic.
And continue just saving shit off the internet and touching themselves. They don't need to be in a relationship.
They really do not.
So what's the issue now then?
So fast forward to the present, and I am in a very healthy, strong relationship with an amazing man who is helping me heal every day. But anytime I even see him glance at an attractive woman or there is a sex scene on TV, I get this terrible gut-wrenching feeling that he wants to be with those women. I am always thinking about how unfair it is that I don't see other men as attractive without an emotional connection. I need to read that again. That didn't. I am always thinking about how unfair it is that I don't see other men as attractive without an emotional connection, but he probably just wants to fuck every hot woman he comes across, and I can't prove that, and nor would he ever admit that, but it fucks with my head, and I am struggling to figure out a way to overcome this and prevent from taking it out on my partner, who has not done anything to make me feel this way.
I want to pause you because I have a couple of things.
Okay.
First and foremost, you are attracted to people, whether there's an emotional attachment there or not. Physical attraction is what gets us biologically to engage with another person. So if you're a single person and you think it's okay to start looking for a mate, you're doing so based off of physical attraction. That is the first thing that we develop to want to talk to somebody. They have a trait that we like or something that we want to mix our DNA with. This is science. Like, this is actually proven.
Well, I'm going to pause you there. It's not even just for sexual relationships. If I am out and about and I see like a crackhead coming towards me, I'm going the other direction. I am more likely to engage with somebody in public who is well put together, has good hygiene, their hair's not greasy, they don't have makeup on that they've been wearing for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
It is more than just a sexual attraction that pulls you to somebody.
Right.
I just want to put that out there before it starts popping off in the comments.
Right. Well, on her point though, she is talking about it sexually. So that's what I was addressing. But you're right in that is a thing. We judge immediately.
Yeah.
But there is a biological standpoint in everyone that bases purely off of looks without an emotional attachment. Because if somebody's fugly in your eyes, you're not going to go talk to them. You're going to keep them away from you because they don't have the desired genetics that you would want to mate with. So that covers that aspect. So for you to say that you don't find people attractive unless you have an emotional attraction, that's bullshit. Because everyone has it. You can choose to turn that off and not act on it and not engage and not do the things that would make you a cheater. But everyone has that. That is by definition how we find mates in the real world. I mean, it's just the way all there is to that.
Right, but people in a relationship shouldn't be looking at people for mates.
Right. They shouldn't.
Right.
They shouldn't. But to say that you don't look at my eyes twitching, to say that you don't have the way that she worded that she doesn't have a physical attraction to somebody unless she has an emotional attraction. It's not how that works. That's just not true.
I think she means in the mindset of being in a relationship. Because I don't look at dudes. I'm not out and about. I'm like, oh, that dude looks hot. I'm not like, ooh, look at his muscles.
Right. That's not what I'm saying, though.
Right. But I think that's what she means in that context. Like in a relationship, when she is with somebody, she has blinders on.
Right. And that's fine. But you can't say that you don't have a physical attraction to somebody without an emotional attachment because that's not how that works. You can choose not to act on it. You can choose to make a decision not to be looking for a mate because you have one. That's very different than saying that you don't have a physical attraction to somebody unless there's an emotional attachment there. We would not exist as a species.
It's making sense now, right? Because when you first meet somebody, there is going to be zero emotional connection.
Right. You don't know them,
right?
And they could be a banger, and then they open their mouth and they could be a dud. So until you don't know. That's why looks are important to us, and on a genetic level, it does come down to sharing DNA to create something that has the traits that you find good in yourself and what you find attractive in your mate.
Right.
That's science. That has nothing to do with anything about, emotional anything. It's just purely on a sexual level. That's how that works. To think that your partner or your person is fantasizing about people in TV shows and sex scenes on TV because they happen to be on the TV show.
Right.
And allowing that to destroy your evening or make you feel a certain way because somebody in your past made you feel a certain way is fucked up.
Yeah, it's a very bold statement to say that he probably just wants to fuck every hot woman he comes across.
Okay. Look, I'm gonna really like devil's advocate this.
Okay.
Right? Even if he was watching TV and he was like, damn, I wish that was me. If he is still emotionally attracted to you, you're still physically attracted, he's still intimate, you guys are still having sexual relations on a regular occasion, and he has not thrown it in your face, and that's just his thought, what does it matter? because your life hasn't changed. He's not acting on it. He's not making you feel less than. You would never even know that's the case. And you just assuming that's the case is creating a negativity bias in you towards your partner.
Right. Sounds like she has a lot to heal from.
Yeah, she shouldn't be in a relationship.
I agree with that. To say that he is probably thinking that way towards every woman. I know a lot of dudes, like it is a very common joke that men think about sex 24/7.
Mm.
A real man has other things on his mind.
Yeah.
Like work and paying bills and making moves and getting you the things that you want in life. And he has you. He's probably thinking about you 24/7. Acting this way is going to push him towards other women.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you right now that when relationship starts and men get with women, they do think about their women 24/7. And when they're thinking about sexual shit, it is, I mean, obviously there are people out there that think about fucking everything they can, but when you're committed and you're lustful towards that person, that's your person. And that lustful behavior will maintain as long as your relationship is healthy. And when the intimacy starts to fade and that lust wears off because you guys are being shitty towards each other and now there's hostilities and there's emotional baggage and drama that's coming along and like that good feeling is gone.
That's when the eyes start to wander.
That's right.
And the thought process changes.
Right. And that's something that you can control.
Yeah.
Because as a woman, you control the intimacy in your relationship. If we were, because I am very into you, I touch you every chance I get. If I was into you the way that I am and you were not into me the way that we are, and you were to start giving me grief and nagging and bitching and complaining, I would stop trying. And eventually, 6, 7, 8 months down the road, my attention is going to be elsewhere. I will be that guy looking at other women. I won't touch it and won't order off the menu. I'm not trying to engage in that if I'm in a relationship, but if my intimacy is gone sexually in a relationship, and that's one of the main reasons that I'm with you, because let's be honest, I can do everything else on my own. I want companionship. And part of that companionship is sexual intimacy. That's the way that works. You can do as a woman who's had it all. You've done the single mom thing. You've had a fucking $60,000, $70,000 a year job. You've had your own car, your own house, your own apartment. You did all the cleaning. You had everything that you needed. The only thing that you didn't have that I brought along was companionship. We have an amazing relationship and we've built a life together, but you are capable of doing it on your fucking own. That's just all there is to that. We don't need anyone anymore. It's a want. And as long as you want your person and they want you, there's no infidelity. You guys will stay true to each other. The moment you start creating problems and making people fucking miserable in your life with the amount of options and ease of access and constant attention from the internet, motherfuckers are going to start looking elsewhere when you make them miserable.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for what we have, because even when things start to slip or there starts to be tension, we get to the root of that shit super fucking fast. I don't want to be in a position where we're 8 months of no sex.
Yeah.
In a roommate phase.
I don't want to go 2 weeks with no sex.
Right. I don't either. And us being sick, like we've done it while we were sick because we fucking, you know what I mean? Like
there's ways we don't have to look at each other.
Fucking right. Yep. And I gotta be in the and honestly, in the moment, I don't care if I get snot on me. I'm in the moment. I don't give a shit about that. I'll shower. I gotta do that anyways. Like,
right.
So that, I don't know. That whole thing for me, like, that's toxic behavior.
Yeah.
If we were watching TV and a sex scene popped up and you were like, don't watch that, I'd be like, who the fuck are you talking to? I'm a grown up. Like, Do you really think that I'm going to be sex?
Right.
Come on, dude. She shouldn't be in a relationship. Guys, if you have past trauma that you have not worked through and you are unable to trust and you are unable to not hold bitterness or even possible resentment to your new person because of something that your past person did, you got a whole lot of fucking work to do on you before you start making other people's lives miserable.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be with somebody for a couple of years. Then you're going to find all these things that you haven't got over that are going to create new triggers. And if you're not willing to talk to them about it and work through those triggers and through those moments, or even go, hey, I need reassurance right now. You're not thinking about fucking her on TV, are you? Like,
yeah.
I got to be honest. For example, if we were watching a baking show and there was a super hot chick on TV, and we were watching TV and they're making brownies and you were like, I need reassurance. You're not thinking about fucking her, are you? I'd be like, I'm thinking about eating that brownie. Like,
and I know that's the truth.
I'm not. Especially if you're within arm's reach. Like, why? I understand that people fantasize about other things, but my sex life is dope.
Yeah.
So, like, in the event that I saw something that started turning me on, you're within arm's reach. Like, let's turn this off. Let's go. Like, I don't understand. Well, maybe they're thinking about fucking someone else. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. But if they're not acting on it and they're not throwing it in your face, what's the problem? Let them think about it. I just don't get it. I also think that that's infidelity. When you're lusting after another person, even if it is just in your thoughts, it's adulterous.
Right. It is taking that attention away from your spouse, your significant other. Would you like me to get you something to drink?
No, I'm just going to keep coughing. And
that's the third time you've picked it up.
That's because I keep forgetting it's empty. I can't have another one.
Okay.
That's my second one today.
So the last thing she says is, it makes me sick to my stomach wondering if I could ever be enough for a man or if they will always lust after women.
What makes you think that all men do that?
All men do not do that.
Right.
Besides you, since I have changed my circle of people, like, dudes are dedicated. When you are a good woman and you got your shit together, and you don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. But you still make things work, and you make us work because outside of my non-perfections, I try everything I can to correct them.
Right.
And I love you. I go above and beyond to make sure that you're happy. This morning I went in there at 7 o'clock and I was like, do you need anything? And you were still laying in bed waking up.
Yeah. Dude, I am having the hardest time getting out of bed in the morning.
Me too.
I don't know. And I know it's probably because we've been sick.
Yeah.
But like, I will lay there I got up this morning at 6. No, I got up at 4:45 and went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I laid there from 4:45 to 5:30 and was like, I just need to get out of bed and just start my day because I'm going to fall back asleep and then I'll be exhausted. And sure enough, fell back asleep. You got up at like 6:30, 6 whenever you got out of bed.
Yeah, about 6:40. I woke up at 5:30.
And I was like, fuck me, dude. I'm so tired. I didn't even get up to pee. I just laid there. I just don't feel like I'm getting enough like quality sleep.
Yeah, I get that.
I want to point something out real quick before we get back into that. You said that dudes are dedicated.
Yeah.
If you keep your man happy, you're not nagging, complaining, and like his life is good, you keep his belly full and his balls empty, he's not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
I want as little bullshit in my life as possible. Right? Like, I don't want drama. I don't want negativity. I don't want disruptions. I want my shit to just be smooth, and I want to enjoy my life with somebody that makes my life worth living with them. Because I can do the shit on my own. I don't fucking need anyone. I want you. And as long as I want you, everything is going to continue to be super fucking dope because you are providing value to me that I would otherwise not have.
And that value is nonstop comedy.
Sure.
Thank you for just going with it. That makes me feel really good about myself. I feel like Dave Chappelle sometimes.
There's a lot that's provided there. There's a lot of value in having you in my life, aside from the companionship and the amazing sex and like the conversation, the laughter and all of that. Like, we have a teamwork setup going on in the house. Like, there's not conflict over shit. I think the most aggressive thing that's ever happened in our house when it comes to like his job, her job things is you've asked me not to leave food out when you've cooked.
Yeah.
Because there's nights that you'll cook and I won't eat for 2 or 3 hours until, right before bed. And I left some chicken on the counter the other night that was left out overnight. And you were like, can you please stop doing this? And I was joking. I was like, that's your job. Food's your job. I won't do that again.
Right.
But I was also eating that until midnight. I was eating cold chicken until midnight because I was doing shit. And like, I'd walk by and eat 2 or 3 bites because I'm fucking busy.
Right.
And it's easier to eat 3 or 4 bites at a time and go about doing shit than it is to actually sit down for 30 minutes and have a meal. You know what I mean? When you're going, it's easier to just go. But if I was going to work, coming home, having to hear you complain, bitch and nag, never have any play, never have sexual intimacy, never have physical intimacy, never have emotional, spiritual intimacy, never having that, you have my fucking back and I have yours, and always having to worry about, oh God, what the fuck is the problem now? Why would I want that? That's where all of that shit starts to fall apart.
Right.
And it, people won't have the conversations when it needs to happen. They'll wait until it becomes a really big deal. And then they can't even bring the for instances because it's been going on for so fucking long that all they know is they're unhappy. Before we get into all of that, I want to say, before anybody can say anything about anything that I just said about attraction and the way that people look and do all of that shit, that also comes down to the want. If you are happy in your relationship and everything is going the way it's supposed to go and you want to be with your person and you want to make your marriage work.
You actually like them.
And right. you want to put in the work to make sure that your relationship is doing what your relationship is supposed to be fucking doing, none of that will take place.
Yeah.
You'll remain faithful. You'll do all the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you'll be happy doing it because you're both doing the work to make it work. Marriages are not simple.
No, there are definitely bumps in the road and potholes, and
There's going to be days that you get underneath of each other's skin and it feels like you are the proverbial bamboo shoots under a fingernail. Like,
oh fuck, I hate that you said that.
but I mean, you're going to have days like that where like you're going to hear them chewing and be like, I will fucking choke the life out of you. Stop it. You're going to get underneath of people's skin. Like when
Right.
you're around each other that much and you're living that life and you've been together for that long, those kind of small annoyances are going to happen.
That happens with anybody you live with long term.
That's it.
Happen with your parents, happen with your siblings, happens with your kids.
It damn sure does, especially with your kids, because they're like, oh, here's a button. Let me push that bitch.
So why does it change when it comes to a spouse?
Because it's easy to walk away from somebody that's not family. Because people want to look at their family members as a DNA bond and that they owe them something instead of realizing that your family is now who you've married.
Right.
And you owe them something. You owe them your fucking effort. Vows don't have meanings anymore. This is why, as a gentleman, like the art of the gentleman, for me, part of being a man is holding your fucking word.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do everything in your fucking power to make sure that you never fail that. And there are circumstances, right? Like you go to jail or you get a speeding ticket and you're late. Like, but you don't give somebody your word and just go, yeah, I don't feel like that anymore. Change my mind. Go fuck yourself. Like, you're fickle. You have no real sustenance to who you are there.
Do you have any final words for the insecurity?
I feel bad for her because she knows it's her problem. She said it.
Right.
How do I get over this? She's not blaming him for any of it. She's trying to take the accountability in all of this, and I respect that. But it comes down to you haven't done the work and you got into a relationship with somebody else now, and now you're projecting your bullshit onto somebody who doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
And if he's never given you indication that he's that person, you can't hold that against him.
I was in a relationship similar to that. Dude was obsessed with sex. He was sending me corn while I was at work, trying to get me to watch shit with him.
While you're at work?
While I was at work.
Not sending pictures of himself?
No, he was sending me corn. 9 times out of 10, it was 2 women. So I felt like bottom of the attraction totem pole.
Right.
I absolutely hated myself. I hated how I looked because what he was watching was nothing what I looked like.
Right.
And now being in a healthy relationship, at the beginning of us, I was a little bit insecure. So I would ask you, like, who are you texting? Do you watch corn? Like, are you looking at thirst traps on TikTok? And you would answer me, you want to be shitty about it. You knew that I had this past of being cheated on and feeling like I'm less than and all of that. There is a point, though, where asking for reassurance 6 or 7 times a day is too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's needy.
It is needy.
Or
it shows a lack of trust.
right.
So it's okay to ask for reassurance in a moment when you really need it. This everyday panicking about him looking at other women and wanting to have sex with them, that is definitely a you problem. And you have to take a step back and remember that he is not the one who caused these wounds to you. You are not even scarred yet. Like, these wounds are still fresh. You are oozing right now. You have to change your bandages. And every time you change a bandage, you have to put whatever wound care on it. That wound care is going to help you heal.
Right.
And the wound care is recognizing that you are worth it. And this man is with you. If he wanted another woman, he would go and get another woman.
Or be saving pictures on his desktop and doing what your last one did.
Right.
You said that the person that you were with before, your ex or whoever it was that was sending you the corn, was sending you pictures of other women and none of it was what you looked like. You know that most men that watch that shit don't do it for the appearance of the women. They do it for the content that they're watching.
Really?
So if it's 2 women, it's because that's what they're fantasizing of. It doesn't matter what the women look like.
Huh.
And if they're watching some sort of bondage or something, it's not the woman, it's the act. And that's normally what does it for them. So the appearance of a woman when it comes to corn is not as important as what's actually happening for most men.
That's crazy.
Men will have preferences in terms of what they normally go for, but that also doesn't really matter. They actually say that you marry the opposite of what you normally date.
Huh.
You know that, right? Like, have you ever heard that? No, maybe?
Married the opposite of
You
what
marry
you
the
date.
opposite, right?
I have not heard that, no.
Okay. Well, that's a thing. So, like, for a man who normally dates like short blondes, he's probably going to marry a tall brunette, or you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be the opposite, and it's going to be somebody that you would never expect them to be with if they have a series of the way that they normally date. It's going to be that one person that comes along that's the complete opposite of what they normally date that they really settle down with because they're giving him something that he wasn't able to get from those other relationships, and normally a looks will correlate with it too.
So what you're saying is people who date purely on appearance
Won't last.
won't last. But when they really start looking into the soul of the person, the appearance doesn't matter.
Right. But you have to get past that initial thing. There was one more thing that I wanted to get on. You were talking about the appearance and making you feel less than and bottom of the barrel because of the way they were looking.
Yeah.
Could you imagine where we would be if you had you had a little bit of insecurities? This is what made this come up because you said that in the beginning you were looking for reassurance.
Correct.
And even if I was looking at thirst traps or I had a corn addiction or whatever when we first started dating, that's something that we could have talked about as we were going through things and could have worked through that to get to a point where we would be healthy. But if you had unresolved trauma from a previous relationship that you brought into our relationship and started creating arguments and insecurities and feelings of you're not enough or somehow we are less than because of all the shit that's previously happened to you, we would never get to the point that we are because you would never allow us to grow.
Right.
Because you were always going to be holding on to the fear, like the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt of what's going on in your life, that you're not going to allow yourself to prosper. And as long as your person is trying to grow and thinks that everything is okay and internally you're falling the fuck apart, you're not going to be able to grow. There's not enough nutrients in your soil to sprout and blossom. Like he's going to go do his thing thinking life is great. Eventually it's going to destroy your relationship. That's where I was going with that. Because if you brought all that bullshit from your past relationships into this one, we wouldn't have gotten here.
Right.
I wouldn't have tolerated it.
Yeah.
So
there is a difference between being supportive and helping heal versus being expected to heal the person.
Right. Well, you can't heal for somebody else.
No, you can't.
If I broke my leg, you couldn't heal my leg for me. So all my internal emotional trauma is my fucking problem, not yours.
Right.
You can be supportive and understanding, but if I'm not working to fix myself and heal my trauma, you're going to end up getting burned by that. It's not fair to you.
How far are we into the podcast?
Well, it says an hour and 24, but we've gone through like 3 fucking emails that we've already read. So like, I gotta be honest, maybe an hour, I'm guessing. I don't know. I like that email. I feel like that email gave us a lot to talk about. So like, I feel like there was a lot of value there.
Yeah.
But that was definitely better than some of the other ones we've gotten.
Well, that was all the ones I had set aside. So now I'm going to go and look for more.
Okay, you want to take a break?
And like come back and do the podcast?
Take 10, 15 minutes. Look for some emails, blow your nose, stretch.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so we're back. Real quick before we jump into other emails, I would like to touch on something that I didn't touch on in the first half of the podcast, and that is, if you are not subscribed to our Patreon, you should absolutely go over there and check that out. Patreon.com/tobebetter. We have a community over there. It's currently growing. We have 4 different tiers that allows you to support us. $5 is just a tip. It's a thank you. It's a monthly donation to help us grow. We have a $10, a $15, and a $20 tier. $10 gets you early access as well as exclusive content. We try to drop a single video every week over there on top of our live streams, which is part of the $15 and $20 tier on Sunday nights. If you do the $15 and $20 tier, you also get access to Discord, which now currently has over 500 people in it, and it is a growing community. There is a lot going on over there. We are working on men and women's groups and a whole lot of other things that is taking part in Discord. Highly recommend that you check that out. If you decide that you don't want to support us on Discord and you're watching this on YouTube, you can give us super chats or subscribe on YouTube. If you don't want to do either one of those things because you're financially strapped or you just don't see the value in giving us money, which is fine, send this to people that you think will get value from it because growing the channel is only going to happen as we... What are you doing?
Waiting to cough.
Go ahead. I should have waited to see how long that would go before you...
Oh, I could have held it.
Yeah?
I just don't breathe.
You have to breathe eventually.
I played the saxophone. I can hold my breath for a while.
So for those of you who don't want to donate to us financially, we understand that's fine. Sometimes you either don't have it. Sometimes you just don't see the value in giving it. Totally okay with that. The next best thing that you can do to help us grow our channel is to share our content with people that may find value in it. The more eyes that hit our content, the more likely they are to subscribe and follow, to interact, like, share, do all that fun stuff, which drives the algorithm and helps us be seen. We are on the march to 50,000. We are so close. So if you're not following, you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should do that.
Do it. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. No subject. Hi, I'm listening to one of your side pieces you guys did in March of this year, and it talks about if a man is the sole provider and he's doing all that work, it's not bare minimum. But I have recently discovered you guys and have went back to your very first podcast. I'm now on episode 11. I was wondering if you guys have any content on of what if a man and a woman both work 50 to 60 hours doing labor work. When they come home, he expects the woman to do everything in regards to housework. Is that and oh Jesus.
You're really struggling over there.
They wrote is the an episode.
I think they're asking if we have an episode that talks about that. And we don't have a specific episode. We have talked about this a lot over the course of the podcast. And if they're on episode 11 and they've actually watched 1 through 11, at some point they've heard this discussion. But this came through just now while I was in the bathroom, and I figured this would be a great opportunity to put this in so that I can tell somebody where to go. If they ask these questions, I can tell them to go watch episode 19.
Yeah.
This is super simple. You still have blue and pink jobs. There's going to be things that you're not going to want to do that he will, and things that he's not going to want to do that you're going to be okay with doing. So if you both work an equal share and you're both breadwinners and you're both doing the life thing, you sit down and you make a list of everything that needs to be done. Dishes, laundry, cooking, cleaning, cars, lawn, pool maintenance if you have it, whatever. You put all the jobs that need to be done on a daily basis on a sheet of paper, and then you put his and hers. And then he goes, okay, I'm willing to do this, and this. And you go, okay, cool. I'm willing to do this, and this. And then you look and see the jobs that are left over that no one wants to do and be like, okay, which one of these do you absolutely, no matter what, not want to do? And then you guys work out those jobs and you have them put in the columns of his and hers so that you're able to go, this is my job. Every day it's expected of me to make sure that this gets done. It's not going to fall on her shoulders. Her jobs aren't going to fall on my shoulders. I can get them done at my leisure. She can get hers done at her leisure, and we can have a functioning house. This really comes down to laying out expectations of whose job is what and then adhering to those expectations.
Yep.
This is not a hard thing.
And if you're with somebody who is not okay with that, don't be with that person.
Right. Why is it? I understand that men particularly are brought up believing in the man and women's roles. And I understand that now feminism is this huge thing, and they tell you that you're not supposed to cook and clean and do all of that shit. But you should. You guys should be working to make sure your house is as evenly divided as you can if both of you are working. And if one of you is working harder than the other, then the work in the household is not going to look the same. You're not going to have 50-50. If one person's working 80 hours a week and the other one's working 20, you don't get to play, well, I work a job too. You fucking don't. You work part-time while they're killing themselves.
Right.
Balance needs to be had. And if you figure this shit out early on when you first move in with each other while things are new and lustful and exciting, you're not going to find yourself resentful later on down the road because you've been living a certain way and now all of a sudden everything's changing and like you've got this awkward fucking energy in the house because you're unhappy that he's not doing dishes or cooking or whatever the case may be.
You're almost saying that people should lay out expectations.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. We've been saying that since the first episode. We've been saying that since before we had a podcast. We were saying that shit on TikTok. You figure out whose jobs are what, and then you fucking do those jobs. And then it is your fucking job.
Yeah, and if it doesn't get done, it's on you.
Right.
You can't get mad at them for not picking up the slack when you didn't ask for help.
Yep.
You can't get mad that they should have seen you were struggling when you haven't said anything about your day. If it is your job, it is your responsibility.
It's not hard.
It's really not.
And when you have a job and you look at it as my job and you know that it's got to get done, you're going to come home and do the fucking job. Not bitch and complain. You're just going to do it. And then you get to relax afterwards because all your chores are finished.
Cuddle and watch Fight Club
Yeah.
while you feed me pizza or something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Instead of grapes. We are fatties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feed me pizza and hold my feet while we watch Fight Club.
Yeah. And you're wondering, how might that work? Well, it would work because you face the TV, your left hand is on that side, right? So my feet are in your left hand. and I'm sitting up slightly with some pillows propped behind my back because I'm delicate, and you'll hold the pizza. Of course, it's not like goopy cheese and shit, so there's not things falling off of there. So it'll be held enough together. We can make this work. That's my point. Now I'm excited because we're gonna try it.
Are we?
I'm hoping.
Why are you getting fed pizza and I'm not?
I'm hoping my definitive confidence. You'll be like, yeah, babe, let's do it.
Yeah.
Is it working?
I mean, I would do it anyways, but what do I get out of this? Because it seems like I'm the one that's doing all the work while you're the Greek painting that's being fed and fanned.
You're gonna give me some potassium afterwards.
Okay. See that, still sounds like a whole lot of work, but I think we can navigate those waters.
So after you rub my feet, my knees are gonna be primed. So this is from somebody in the Discord. Religion and DS.
Okay.
I've emailed before. This sat in my drafts. That's what it was called. Since then, I've definitely proven the lack of living I do because I work graveyard shifts, do online school, be a badass mom, and play video games and spend time with my long-distance boyfriend. I finished all the shorts, non-Spotify iTunes podcast content. I've yet to subscribe to y'all's Patreon. This isn't much of an advice help email.
Wait, how do they get to Discord if they haven't subscribed to our Patreon?
This was sent back in March.
Oh, so they are now in Patreon?
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't much of an advice or help email, just more of a side piece or seeing how much more I can resonate with you guys kind of email.
Okay, that's interesting.
So moving on, I am a 30-year-old female, been in a long-term, long-distance relationship for 3 years, 2,150 miles apart within the U.S., and he is 6 months older than me. Both of us have definitely grown as a couple within communication, understanding of our morals, boundaries, and roles within the relationship, especially as things progress and the distance between us will shorten. I'm very open and loud, literally loud about my feelings. I used to be big on I have to be loud to feel heard, and being with him has changed that part of me because I don't want to be that person with him. He is a compartmentalizer. Compartmentalizer? That's not the word.
It is the word. He compartmentalizes his...
Compartmentalizes.
Yep.
Compartmentalizer. It's not compartmentalizer? That makes my elbows hurt.
I don't know why.
It just doesn't sound right to me. It's like helicopter all over again. Luckily, being his safe place and peace, he has been over 9,000 times better about being more open with me and being able to feel like I won't throw his feelings in his face and hold it against him.
Hold on.
Here's the TMI part of this. As we've grown together within our relationship, a DS lifestyle has developed as much as it emotionally can. There are some physical aspects that can happen in a LDR, but we'll keep this PG-13. What is LDR?
Long distance relationship.
How can there be physical aspects?
There's not, unless they're webcamming and like he's telling her to do shit. And
Okay.
I don't know why people send us long distance relationship shit. I really don't like dealing with this stuff.
Yeah.
Because of my beliefs on it. And I understand that it works for people and people have been together for 13 years and have happy marriages afterwards. And like, it's a thing for a lot of people. And I get that. It just would not work for me. And I don't understand it.
I think it's because you're a physical touch and quality time kind of person.
I fucking am.
So having somebody 2,000 miles away when you can only text and call would be a problem for you.
Yeah, I couldn't do that shit.
I dated a dude in Italy and it did not go well. Especially when I start steering towards my old ways, where I start getting snappy and bratty, his tone with me changes and he keeps me in check. But me being the one who has been in many toxic, mentally, emotionally, physically abusive relationships, not to disregard or invalidate the fact that he has been manipulated by ex-girlfriends that hold his emotions and thoughts against him, because he has had a share of that. Being in a healthy relationship now makes me feel more eager and happy to be submissive to him.
Crazy how that works.
Neither of us are extremely religious. I do go to church with my 9-year-old daughter. I believe in the moral values and structure that a non-denominational church can teach a child. I can say denominational, but I can't say
Compartmentalize
compartmentalize.
or helicopter.
Helicopter.
Helichopter.
Helichopper. That just sounds so much more cooler.
It really does.
Like, can you imagine a scene in a movie where there's all these soldiers and a lot of loud noises and gunfire, and he's like, "Get to the helicopter." That just does it for me.
That's funny.
I have an adrenaline dump now. It just sounds so cool. And y'all listen to my thoughts. That's wild. You still enjoy me?
I do very much.
That's so dope. I'm so lucky. For me personally, I was a closeted alcoholic starting at the age of 12. I stopped drinking completely on Veterans Day of 2022. That's dope. Let's see. But that's dope. Stopping your alcoholism in its track is how you break generational trauma. You just change your whole child's life trajectory.
Yep.
Trajectory. So, having BPD, bipolar disorder, and being on the spectrum, I never knew who I truly was because of the mirroring concept.
Well, if you have BPD, you got a chameleon issue going on anyways.
So when you say chameleon issue, are you meaning like forming to fit society standards, or
No, I mean that people who have borderline jump through their appearances
okay,
like Wheel of Fortune.
so like what are we gonna do today?
Yeah, or who am I hanging out with? Oh, I'm hanging out with goth kids now. Cool, I'm goth. Oh, I'm hanging out with fucking emo kids tomorrow. Cool, I'm emo now. I'm hanging out with preps day after that. Cool, I'm preppy now. Like that lack of
Sounds
identity
yeah.
is very real for somebody who have borderline. You will adapt your identities as you go like a chameleon.
That's crazy.
That's a very real thing.
Wow. And going back to church has helped me feel like I'm being the person I tried to be when I was younger. My boyfriend's take on religion, going to church, is that he's not one for organized religion. His relationship with God and Jesus is between them, and the support and understanding he gives me for going to church will always stand strong.
Does he actually have a relationship with Jesus, or does he just say that? Is he actually like reading the Bible and studying scripture and having a personal relationship with God? Or is he just one of those guys that's like, yeah, I got my own, me and God are good, deuces. Like,
Right.
because there's a difference.
There is a
Somebody
difference.
claiming to be spiritual or religious and not actually doing the work and studying and trying to live that faith. It's two very different things.
It is.
And I'm not saying you got to be in your Bible every single day. You should be, but it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, especially going through what we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about a week since I've touched my Bible.
Yeah, it's been less than that for me, but I've been feeling spiritually attacked. So
You have to practice what you preach.
mm-hmm.
So you can't just say, I'm a good person. Your actions have to speak for you being a good person.
Right. You got to really think, when you read the Bible, all of his apostles were killed.
Yeah.
Like horribly tortured. Like it wasn't like they just were followers of Jesus and had a dope fucking life. They had horrible existences and kept their faith. And I got to be honest, the amount of people out there who run around claiming to be Christians and believe it in God,
Oh, they were
put in
that shit quick.
putting in those kind of situations where they were going to be tortured, they would renounce their shit real fucking quick because they're on paper.
Right.
Well, I got saved when I was 12. I'm going to heaven. I believe in Jesus. Like, do you really? Or are you just saying that?
Their current comfort means more than their spiritual
Right.
connection. Now, I know you guys don't touch on the religious topic in your episodes. I have heard very little on the DS topic.
And you will hear very little on it because it's our private life.
Yeah. And that y'all don't give two rats' asses about others' opposing opinions.
We don't.
I'm just curious as to where you guys may have received any sort of disgust or negativity from anyone around you for being religious and not being vanilla.
I don't understand why that's even anybody else's concern. Why is what you do in your bedroom the concern of anyone else, especially those in the church?
Right, why are y'all talking about your bedrooms?
Right, are you running around talking about your sex life to your preacher? Like, are you running around trying to fuck other people in the congregation? Why would they need to know what's going on in your life? And 1 Corinthians 7:4 says that you are supposed to submit your body to your husband or to your wife. So if you are submitting your body to your partner and you guys have crazy sexual things going on and you're not fucking other people and you are staying true to your vows in terms of your sanctity of your marriage, well, you're not married in this case, but
It's long term enough.
why is that anybody's business?
Yeah.
I don't understand where the issue is. If somebody came to us and they were like, you're living in sin by doing what you're doing in the bedroom, you don't know what I'm doing in the bedroom. And even if you did, it's consensual and she's happy and I'm happy and what we're doing works for us. It doesn't matter what's going on in there. Do you think that just because you're religion, you have to fuck missionary for the rest of your life?
Ew.
You would think that giving the pleasure centers that we have and the way that our bodies work, that God wouldn't want us to enjoy the things that he made us to enjoy to do. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't any good.
Right. Some people just like vanilla ice cream, and then there's out there who like chocolate mint.
I don't understand that thought process. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing in my bedroom. It's mine. Lil Wayne said, "Don't worry about what's in my cup. It's in my cup.
Yep.
Don't worry about what's in my bedroom. It's my bedroom. Unless you're trying to come in there, and then you can try to worry about it, and I can shut that shit down because you're not welcome in my bedroom."
Right. It's been a validating feeling to see another couple have a Christian faith, swears a fuck ton, and lives a DS lifestyle.
The swearing thing is something I am working on. Well, I'm obviously not. I kind of gave up on that because I feel like we're reaching people that we wouldn't reach if we were clean cut, clean spoken.
Right.
And like, I don't want to change what God called me to do because he's calling me to do it because of who I am. And if I get this hair up my ass to stop cursing because I really feel like powerfully about doing that, at that point I will. But I was really trying to clean up my speech and trying to be that person to set an example. And like, we're reaching so many people being who we are.
I've cleaned up my language slightly.
Yeah.
I don't want every other word to be a cuss word.
Well, I don't either. I want my cursing to be like punctual,
Impactful.
right? Impactful,
Yeah.
not punctual, impactful. But at times I do get excited and the F word is every other word. I can't control that. When I get like into it, it's just free flowing, obscenities.
How have you approached this discussion with other people and within yourselves as a couple going into your relationship, courting, and marriage?
I don't understand.
So, being a Christian, but wanting a DS lifestyle.
Well, those are two different conversations.
How have you approached this discussion with other people and within yourselves as a couple going into your relationship, courting, and marriage?
Well, with other people, I don't get into that. My sex life doesn't belong to other people. It's mine.
Right.
There's no reason for anybody to be in our bedroom. People don't need to know what we're doing. That really, truly does not matter to anyone other than us. So yes, you wear a day collar, and we have outward symbolism, symbology of what our life is. And it's not to advertise for other people. It's for us. So that conversation is not had with other people. If people compliment your collar, we thank them. That's the end of it.
Yep.
If people try to have conversations about our sex life, like, whoa, that's none of your business. If people want to talk to me about my faith, I'll have that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of it. But I'm not running around talking about my sex life to people. I don't understand how that would even be a thing for other people. Now, if you're talking about and people that you're getting into a relationship with, that's part of your relationship. You should be having those conversations. And if you're getting, if your boyfriend is religious or faux religious or whatever you want to call what he's got going on, he's still your boyfriend. And if you guys are going to be together long term, these discussions need to be had way before moving forward. He needs to understand that you have a faith. He needs to understand that you have a want to submit if that's what your role is or whatever the case may be. Those conversations need to be had, but they're your partner.
Right. Yeah, I don't even really talk to friends in depth. I do not talk to friends in depth about our sex life. If I have someone who is close to me who wants clarification on something, like, is this abuse or is this okay? Then I'll give input on that.
Right.
I agree, though. Yeah, what happens in our bedroom is nobody else's business, especially in a church setting.
Yeah. I know that people like to brag
Right.
about their sex life. I don't. If it's good, it's good. I mean, that's as far as you need to know. You don't need to know what I'm doing in there. Like,
Right. You don't need to know the nitty gritty of shit.
why? Why would you want to even know that? Are you going to go home and spank it later and you just want to use me as your reference? Like, are you trying to compete with me? Are we trying to see how many times we can do whatever? Like, that shit's just weird to me.
Yeah.
Some things are meant to be kept private. That's one of those things.
Last paragraph.
Oh, I thought we were done.
No, that was, there's one more paragraph. I love your guys' content. Thank you for making my long distance relationship still feel valid. The way you guys share the same thought processes as us, communication growth, Chris's BPD and Peaches' depression, and how you work through your own shit apart and together, vocalizing what you need, where you're standing in your BPD episodes, how you get your badass up and get to work and get the work done despite the fact that you want to stay in bed all day, and helping me bring up some conversations that I have had with my boyfriend, but felt the need to recheck in with certain topics because you guys have talked about it. Thank you for showing people how to be better, because damn, some people really need it. Sorry. There have been times I watch and listen to an episode that makes me think, damn, where was that X months ago? I love the times that I can send my boyfriend TikToks or shorts and say this, all of this, if this ain't us. Don't let your lights dim. We need more people like you too. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Back to all of that before you read that. And this goes for, I don't care what your sexual preference is. It doesn't matter to me if you're gay or not.
Right.
Right? As long as you're not fucking with children. And I have to say that because I fucking draw a line when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
Live your life. If what you're doing is making you happy, who gives a shit what other people think?
Yep.
You don't owe the world anything. You don't owe your parents. You owe your kids.
Yeah.
That's it. You brought them into the world. It's your fucking responsibility to take care of them and raise them the way they're supposed to be raised. Beyond your partner, no one in the fucking world matters what's going on in the bedroom. How you love, who you love, the way you love, that shit doesn't matter. Are people going to judge you? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
I mean that. I don't understand that mindset. I'm not ashamed. I may get like a little butthurt when people talk about our age gap because of the way that they talk about it. Like they really talk down to me because I'm older than you.
Right.
But when we're out in public and you're on my arm, the last thing I'm thinking of is our fucking age gap. You know what I'm thinking about? How in the fuck did I deserve this in life? My life is amazing. Thank you, God, for putting this woman in my life.
Do you really think that?
Every fucking day. And I'm not ashamed of us. There's nothing that we are doing that I view as shameful. Even like the nitty gritty bedroom shit. Like if we were outspoken about that, I wouldn't be ashamed of it.
Oh yeah, no, me either.
The privacy of it is just because it's ours. Like I want to have our world is on the fucking internet. Yeah. Like I want that to be for us. But I'm not ashamed of shit.
Yeah. Me either.
The idea that you need to cater to society's standards or to try to make society agree with what you're doing, that's crazy to me. Live your fucking life. Be happy. Love passionately. Do your thing.
No matter what you do, there will always be somebody out there hating you.
Yep. Somebody's always got some foul shit to say. And the chances of them saying it to you are slim to none. So fuck them.
Yeah, because they can't handle confrontation.
Right. No, they can't on the internet. They can talk a whole bunch of shit behind a screen.
There's no repercussions.
Right. But in the real world, which is what matters, people aren't going to confront you. And if they do, they're normally fucking like bigoted scumbags.
Right.
Fuck them. Tell them to have a great day and go about your life. They're nobodies to you. And even if they are super important people in your life, if they're judging you and making your life miserable because of your decisions and it's not affecting them, evaluate that. Think about that for a minute. Shouldn't the people that truly love you want you to be happy as long as you're safe?
Yeah.
I'm good, man.
There's that sense of control that people want. And when you cut that control ties from them, they lose their minds.
Yeah.
That's the end of that one. And I'm hungry again.
I actually am too. But it's also lunchtime, so.
All right. So, well, I just picked a random email.
Okay.
From our podcast ready folder.
Okay.
So I have not read this. It has not been screened. This might be an absolute waste of time. Let's find out.
All right. What's it called?
New listener. What if the woman makes more? I recently found your videos. There was one that caught my eye, taking off your husband's boots. I have to be honest, at first I snarled a bit and thought about it and dove deeper. I love it when people get angry and triggered by our content and then they really sit down and think about it and they're like, okay.
Why does this bother me so much?
Right.
This falls back to the last email though. If it makes you happy to take my boots off, and it makes me happy with you taking my boots off, and it's in our home,
Yeah.
who gives a shit if you like it or don't like it? And if we talk about it on the internet and other people do it and other people like it and you don't like it, fucking who cares? It's not your life.
You want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
I had somebody on one of my TikToks. I don't know if this one that she's speaking on, but I talk about taking your boots off and making your life easy and maintaining the household and all of these things. And I end it with, I call you sir sometimes. And that sir is my equivalent of like babe or honey or love or whatever. And somebody with like 3.8 million followers commented and said, yeah, you guys are cute, but you shouldn't be fetishizing your relationship. And I said, because I am a submissive housewife and I like to make my husband's life easier, I am fetishizing it. My marriage is not a fetish. My traditional lifestyle, my traditional role as a woman is not a fucking fetish. I don't know what made me think of that, but that comment got under my skin.
Right, because it's not what it is for us. But even if it was, it's none of your fucking business. If you don't like it, dope. If you like it, dope. Your opinion's not going to change the way that we live our lives. That whole fucking mindset to me just blows my mind. I like it that some people like what we're doing, and I love it that people are starting to take their person's boots off and are starting to work on their appreciation and the gratitude in the home and meeting the person by the door and giving them a kiss and letting them know they were missed, and like they are improving the intimacy in their relationship. I don't give a fuck how they do it.
Yeah.
The fact that they are doing it because we suggested it is dope. That I care about that. Even if you don't agree with anything we say, but you want to improve the intimacy in your house and you hear us talking about it and you find your own ways to improve the intimacy in your house and you disagree with everything we say, I love that for you.
Yeah.
I want you to have the most intimate, amazing, loving relationship you can possibly fucking have.
And it does not have to be like ours.
And it doesn't affect me one way or the other if you do or you don't. I want you to have life. I want you to have love. I want you to have amazing moments. I want you to have memories that you will never fucking forget that mean the world to you. But I don't care one way or another because I'm not living that life.
I want people to be on their deathbed and look back on their life and say, I don't have any regrets.
Right.
I did everything right and I was happy.
Right. But at the end of the day, if that's not how their life plays out, it's not my fucking life. It doesn't matter.
Right.
What do I want the best for you? Absolutely. Am I trying to dictate that and make you do those things? No, I'm really not.
It's all a choice. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm going to do what I do that makes me happy until the day I die.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing it and I'm smiling and I'm living my best fucking life and you guys are bitter and hating on what we're doing, just know that we're living our best lives and we're fucking smiling through the shit.
Yeah.
So while you're over there being a negative Nancy and miserable and snarky and fucking hating what we're doing, know that we're happy and you're not.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw the absolute glory in your eyes when you were explaining how it made you feel. It prompted me to review mine and my soon-to-be husband's division of labor, etc. I always found myself traditional. I like to cook. I don't mind cleaning, making lunches, planning events or dates. I enjoy making my home cozy and soon-to-be husband happy.
Then why did you snark about the boots coming off?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would you be snarking if I was on TikTok talking about massaging your feet at the end of the day with some like jojoba oil?
No.
Would that be a snarky thing? Taking your shoes off for you or waiting, letting you take your shoes off at the door.
Oh, is it because I'm a woman?
And then sitting down and rubbing your feet while you tell me about how bad your day was? Would that be a snarky thing? Or is it because it's you taking his boots off that it's a problem?
No, you're right. Because if it was you talking about how you do that for me, it'd be like, you go girl, you got yourself a real man.
Right. That's exactly what it'd be.
Yeah.
And men calling me a simp and all that bullshit. I am a simp for you. I don't hide that. What, you gonna call me names because I'm in love and I'm happy? You can call me what the fuck you want because I am in love and I am happy.
Right. I bet the people calling you a simp are 10 levels lower than you are.
Doesn't matter. My
on
bank
levels
account
of
is
happiness
full.
And
My bank account is full. My belly's full. And my nuts are empty. I'm good.
Yeah.
Life is good.
I'm glad I make you happy.
You do.
You mean that?
Mm-hmm.
After moving into a house together, his tasks like yard work and fixing things became more prominent since we owned. So we took our roles and were happy with them. Well, recently, my soon-to-be husband's job went out of business, so he was forced to take a lower position, which resulted in me being the breadwinner. He has supported me in the past, and I was more than willing to support him while he found his new path. My issue became the division of labor. I was bringing in more. I was constantly thinking about how much we're bringing in and what we can afford, working longer if needed. I was in his shoes finally. I had a talk with him about splitting the house chores. We have 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 living rooms, and 3 animals.
Pause. Was this division of labor an issue when he was the breadwinner and you were not?
No.
Okay.
It's a lot to keep up with, but he agreed to help me. To be clear, all I asked was if he could do the dishes and the litter boxes, and I can do the rest. It's been a few months, and it has been slacking a lot. On top of that, he is also asking my help for yard work. I feel as though my plate is already full, and if roles were reversed, I wouldn't need his help with anything. I'm trying not to complain and to help and understand what he is going through, and I don't want to nag. He is looking for a higher paying job but needs to finish out his contract.
Wait a minute. I thought he wasn't working.
He took a lower paying job.
So he is working.
He is working, so where he was went out of business.
Right. So he has a job.
Right.
You're both working. You just make more money. And you think that because you make more money, the division of labor needs to change.
Right.
If all she's asking him to do is the dishes and clean the litter boxes, that's not a big fucking deal. Just do the dishes and clean the litter boxes, bro. Like, but for you to put yourself on a high horse because you make more money, if you're both working a full-time job, it's a full-time job regardless of who's making what.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like, nothing has changed
Right.
besides what your salaries are.
Right. It also sounds like he's depressed, but that's irrelevant.
Right. She also said, so she is working longer hours if needed.
So she's working overtime.
Well, I'm hoping he would be doing the same because he recognizes his pay cut.
You would hope that.
So if you are both working longer hours, you don't get a pat on the back.
Right.
You know, if you are working longer hours and he isn't, if you're staying 3 to 4 hours later during the day, he could pick up a little bit more slack.
Yeah.
Because you are making sure you're bringing in that extra income that was lost.
Here's a question. In the event that you are working overtime and he is not, let's say you're working 38 hours a week and your person's working 50. It's 12 hours extra a week.
Right.
Even if that's just 2.5 hours a day or 3 hours a day, whatever that adds up to. Eventually, unless you're playing video games or doing something that keeps your brain occupied, being at home by yourself is going to get boring.
Yeah.
When you're at home alone, isn't it easier to clean when you're by yourself? Isn't it easy to just take care of the shit that you're doing by yourself? You can put your phone on, put music on, put an audiobook on, do whatever it is that you enjoy doing and knock out those chores out of boredom.
Oh, are you asking me?
No, I'm asking in general,
Okay.
because whenever I've lived by myself, it was very easy to keep up on the house because it's just me. But like, I don't watch a lot of television, so I don't come home and turn the TV on and sit in front of the TV, and I don't scroll TikTok, and I don't, I will, when there's nothing going on and I've got all my shit done, I will look for ways to occupy my mindset, but that gets boring too. And I'm not going to sit there and stare at the fucking wall. If I was home by myself 3 to 4 hours every single day, I would be doing shit in the house to make my house more enjoyable because I'm fucking here by myself 3 to 4 hours a day. I'm not going to get on a video game. I'm not going to get that addiction. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to look for that escape in my reality. I'm going to make sure that my shit is done. I got to be honest, if I had 3 or 4 hours of free time every single day, I'd be trying to open businesses and look for ways to level up in life.
Right.
But I would make sure that my shit is done. I also don't understand the concept of not working. Since I was a kid, I've only been 2 weeks without a job my entire adult life.
Right.
And that was a decision that I made because I needed a break between 2 career changes. I don't know. I just think that I would get bored sitting at home by myself. Like, if there was dishes here and there was nothing to do, if I did the dishes, it would take 10, 15 minutes out of an hour I had alone that I could do something. And then that's 10 or 15 more minutes that we would get later in the night. So like, if I had to do laundry, dishes, clean the cat boxes, and something else, maybe spot clean the bathroom, I could do that in an hour. And that takes up the entire hour. And now we could probably watch a movie if we were willing to stay up late, a little bit late. You know what I mean? Like, that idea of it being laziness and not spending time with your person is where my hang up comes in.
Right.
Because if I'm out there watching TV and you're in here cleaning and doing all of that shit that I could have done, I'm not spending time with you. We are actively allowing our lives to fall into the roommate phase because I'm watching TV or scrolling TikTok while you're doing something else in the house. We are divided in that.
Yeah.
even without the resentment, all the other shit that comes with that, we are divided in that we're not together while we're at home.
That's why I don't want to move my desk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to move your desk. I was trying to make it so you didn't have to worry about the computer shit.
No, I know, but like that's part of the reason I don't want to be in another room if I'm going to be on my computer.
Right.
Because I feel like that would be a division, and that's a choice.
Eventually, it would be. If you were in your room playing Minecraft all day while I'm out here editing and I have to walk into the other room to have a conversation with you instead of just speaking,
yeah,
the conversation will eventually...
Stop.
Yeah, it would devolve.
You wouldn't come into the room to talk to me.
No, because I have shit to do out here. So, like, if you're playing Minecraft literally right behind me, 3 feet behind my chair, while I'm editing video, if I want to talk to you or be like, listen to this and unplug my headphones, like, we can have that discussion.
Right.
Moving into the other room would absolutely destroy that. Just like putting a couch with a divider on it so you can put your drinks in it is going to destroy the intimacy between you and your person.
Yeah, I'm good on all that.
So am I.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't even remember what this email was about. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm good. Yep.
Okay. I guess my overarching question is, in this situation, is it reasonable for me to ask him to take on more when I provide more?
No.
And how do I express this to him without making him feel worse than he already does by making less?
Just because you make more money than him doesn't mean that you're working more than he is.
Right.
He could be outside digging ditches and you could be sitting at a desk. Your fucking money means nothing unless you're providing for him.
Right.
If you're the breadwinner and you're supporting him, that changes things a lot. But if he's outside breaking his back doing labor or any type of full-time job where he's out of the house for 40 hours and so are you, you're both working.
Right. The monetary doesn't matter.
Right. You're trying to create a hierarchy based off of monetary value. That doesn't work that way.
You know, you could be working 40 to 50 hours a week making more than him while he's working 60 to 70 hours a week.
Making less. Right.
So if we're looking at it that way, because he's working more hours, you should be doing more.
Right. Well, in that scenario, yes.
Right.
If you're working 60 hours a week and he's working 20, he should be doing a lot more around the house. And that's the discussion that needs to be had.
Right. It's not about the monetary, who's making more. It's about who's actively doing more while they're away from the house.
Right. And I also think that falls into like the type of jobs. If you're a receptionist at a fucking nail salon and he's outside digging ditches,
right,
don't expect him to come home and have to do a whole bunch of shit. Like, you might be mentally tired, but he's physically destroyed at the end of the day.
Right. And if you can't move your body, it doesn't matter what you want to do.
Right.
You aren't physically capable of it.
You know how much hate we get for saying that?
Are you serious? We get hate for that?
Constantly. People are like, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My job is hard. You're not outside chopping down trees or digging ditches or fucking laying, fiber optic line or, you know what I mean? Like,
all the women who say that have never had a physically demanding job.
Dude, that shit sucks. I've done the stay-at-home dad thing.
Right.
It's not as hard as everyone makes it out to be.
No, the fuck it's not. I have done physically demanding jobs. I've worked out in the Florida heat 12, 14-hour days.
Yep.
Yeah. Y'all are really getting upset about that?
Yep. I see it all the time. People get mad because they're like, well, are you saying that mentally exhausting jobs are less demanding than physical? And I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. It sucks to be mentally tired. It's another to be physically exhausted and have your whole fucking body ache knowing that you got to go do it again the next day.
There was one day where I got off of work. I got home at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night after being up at 5 a.m. And I was out in the sun all day and I was doing gardening and ripping out trees and planting shit. Like, I did yard work.
Mm. I
got home that night. I sat on the couch and I physically could not get up to take a piss for 30 minutes. My bones hurt so bad. My meat felt tenderized.
Yeah.
I couldn't move.
I did landscaping and tree work and shit a lot when I was younger. That was a very easy way to make money when I was a kid, 15, 25 years old. That work, being in the Florida sun all day like that, drinking 2 to 3 gallons of water, trying to stay hydrated while still fucking lifting and doing all that. By the time I got home, I didn't want to do shit.
Right.
So, you get home after dark. You leave before the sun comes up, so you get to the first job as the sun's coming up. You get home after the sun's gone down because you worked until the sun went down and started to drive home.
Yep.
You eat dinner in the truck, and you sit on the couch, gross and stinky, until you can get enough fucking gumption to go take a shower, and you go right to bed.
There were times I would shower in the morning before going to work. I didn't realize I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Until it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. I've slept on the couch and just been like, fuck it. I ain't even bothering getting up. I'm already out here. Might as well just stay here.
Slept in my shoes.
Yeah.
Like, being mentally exhausted, you can still get up and go get things done.
Yep.
When you have that physical exhaustion and you can't move your body, you can't fucking move your body.
Yeah, the mental exhaustion comes in because, like, and for me, because I've had jobs that have done both, to both extremes, my mental exhaustion shit just makes me an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm super irritable and I don't want to deal with anything. Like those are nights that I could do a whole lot more and just be by myself. I could play video games. I could go outside and take pictures. Like I have a lot left in me, just not thinking. Like just leave me
No
alone and let me
decision
turn my
making.
brain off. Right.
Right. You know, even with the kids now, I said it in Discord this morning, for the next 30 days, I am not going to allow any negative emotions affect my outwardly appearance. So I'm going to say I'm frustrated, but I'm going to say it with a chipper fucking tone.
Yeah.
Like this morning with the kids, our son was taking forever to get his shoes on. I said it 4 or 5 times. And I stopped. I'm like, babe, I'm getting really frustrated right now. I'm going to need you to go put your shoes on. Like,
Yeah.
instead of going, come on, get your shit together, go put your shoes on.
Right.
Like I'm really, I even caught myself while trying to get into the Gmail. I was getting frustrated because it said I needed my phone to log in. I'm like, it's me.
Right.
So I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I caught myself and I was like, it's okay. You just have to walk over there. Do a little 1-2 step. Go get your phone. You got this. I'm really trying to, I don't even remember where I was going with this.
Be more positive on an outward appearance.
I don't even remember why I started saying it though.
I don't either. But I was letting you go with it.
Fuck. I also have a semi work from home job while he is a maintenance tech and more demanding on the body. It is hard for me to explain that even though I'm sometimes working from home, it doesn't mean I can take care of the house on the clock. Losing this job would mean the worst for both of us. I appreciate your feedback. He really is the most amazing man, and I just don't want to break his spirit, and I know it kills him to be in this position he is. This is going to be one of those things where, like, you might have to suck it up.
Yeah.
You guys are in hard times right now. He's trying to get his shit together. He's doing everything he can to get a better paying job. You guys are a team. If he is not cleaning out the litter box, what else did she say? Do the dishes?
Doing the dishes, yep.
And cleaning out the litter boxes, you might just have to remind him. Hey, babe, have you done this today? Hey, babe, the dishes are still in the sink. I still have 40 more minutes on this call. I need you to get that done for me, please.
Right. I also know that people that go to work don't spend their entire day at work working.
Right.
Excuse me. Let's be honest. Like, you fuck off a lot at work. Everybody does. You may get a lot done, and you may be really Johnny on the spot on top of shit, but you talk to your coworkers and you fuck off while you're at work.
Yeah.
You have downtime. You don't just work. And if you do, you're very rare that you do that. Even in jobs where I've been like looked at in a leadership role, I'm not killing myself 24/7. While I'm at work, I'm working and I'm getting my tasks accomplished for the day, but I may stop and have a conversation with a coworker about how their date went last night or about a new whiskey they've tried or whatever. And if I'm able to have that conversation and I'm not dedicating my entire moment to the task at hand, I'm not giving my task 100%. I'm giving it 45 while I'm giving 55 to my coworker so that I can have a conversation about shit. So if that is the way that works and you're at home and you have 20 minutes between phone calls, if that's what you're doing, some sort of customer service thing or whatever, or you have time in between emails and you've got ahead for the day, you have time to do the dishes. Stop scrolling Facebook. Get off TikTok.
Right.
Spend that extra 30 minutes that you would spend every 2 hours doing something not related to work and clean the cat boxes. Cleaning the cat boxes, if you clean them every single day, takes less than a minute.
Right.
You literally walk in there with your little bag and pooper scooper and clean the fucking cat box out and call it a day. That comes into the difference between people that clean and stay on top of it versus clean and then let things get destroyed. If you're at home throughout the day and you're on a phone call that you can move away from your desk on, you can move around your house and do shit.
Right.
It's not hard. If you walk by something and go, oh, they left a can on the counter, to throw the fucking can away. Or if there's 3 dishes in the sink, you just wash all 3 of those dishes real quick. Like, you stay on top of shit, it doesn't become a problem. It's when you let your house become a fucking pigsty that you have to actually dedicate a day to cleaning. It's a very different scenario than spot cleaning.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't understand that just because they make more money means that I don't have to work.
That gives me like a superiority complex vibe.
Right. Could you imagine how that would work if it was a dude? Like, if we both worked the same hours and you had a job and I was the bigger breadwinner and I'm like, well, I make more money than you, so you got to do everything in here. I ain't fucking doing nothing at home. I make more money. It's not how that works.
No, yeah, that wouldn't work for me.
Right. Because we're both working. So we have to division of labor. We have to figure out who's doing what, and then we need to adhere to those jobs. It falls right back onto what I said when we sat back down.
I just thought of this. Was he in charge of the finances while he was working? Or the breadwinner? he's still working.
Yeah.
But when he made more, was he in charge of the finances, and did that change? Because now she said that she's stressed about money and making things work.
Right. Well, I mean, it could have been. It could have been. But I'm curious if if the division of labor changed just because he's making more money. Was she doing more at home even though she was still working a full-time job?
Right.
Because if that's the case, then he was in the wrong for making you do more when you were both working full-time jobs. Just because you earn more doesn't mean shit.
Right.
It comes down to hours away from the house. That's common sense.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into the next email, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because when we do lives, we don't always give notices. So for those of you who are diehard fans that are in Discord, we let you guys know what's happening a little bit before, like, hey, we're going to go live in like an hour, be ready. But for those of you who aren't in Discord, you have no way of knowing. So if you don't hit the notification bell, how are you going to know when we go live?
You don't want to miss out on
You
that.
don't. You don't. I mean, it's really just the same thing, except for we can answer questions. But we are highly entertaining people. I mean, you're here watching this right now.
There's some shenanigans that happen.
And if you're not watching this, it means you're listening on a podcast. And if you're watching or listening on a podcast and you have like binged and you're waiting for that next episode, just know that you could go to YouTube and watch a whole lot of shit that you haven't seen yet, because YouTube gets more content than the podcast does.
Correct.
Although this week was the first time we had a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release on the actual streaming services for podcasts.
Oh, that's dope.
So I'm going through and finding older stuff that we haven't actually utilized yet and just kind of throwing it up there so that we have some smaller content on Wednesdays just to hold them over.
All right. Relationship advice.
Don't do it. Bye. No.
Fixed mindset versus growth mindset.
Okay.
I hope this message finds you well. It does not find us well. We are both dying. I just wanted to take a moment to express how much I love your podcast and how much it has inspired me to work on myself and my relationship with my wife. I love that. I apologize in advance for the length of this message, but I'll try my best to summarize my situation. My wife and I have been together for 5 years and married for 3. During this time, I've experienced significant growth in many areas of my life, including my mindset, career, health, and spirituality.
Love all of that.
However, my wife's growth has been stagnant, and we are no longer seeming to share the same mindset.
That's a problem.
I feel like I've outgrown her in many ways, and it often feels like she's holding me back.
Ooh. Ooh.
I pray that you never feel that way about me.
That's the end of a marriage.
That's horrifying.
When you have two people and one of them is super driven and goal oriented and trying to go, and the other person is just okay with sitting on the couch and watching TV.
Yeah.
That is a huge problem.
You don't feel that way about me, do you?
I don't feel that way. Okay. If I felt like you were holding me back in some way, we would have a discussion. I know this is going to sound real arrogant to everyone. That's going to sound real arrogant. I don't know anybody that has a work ethic I do. I've never met a single person on the planet that has a work ethic I do.
Right.
I'm not saying that they don't exist. There are people out there, Andy Frisella, Rob Bailey. Like, I'm sure those guys would work circles around me. They have the success because of their work ethic. I am one of those people that will live, eat, sleep, dream, obsess over what I'm trying to accomplish. I have that fucking insane, crazy work ethic. I obsess. And I know that that can be stressful. And I know that, like, Nicole will say that I'm a restless soul and that, like, people don't do like I do. However, you don't hinder that. You don't. I can't believe you're going to work again. I can't believe you're editing for 4 days straight. You've been in front of the computer for 13, 14 hours a day for the last week. Are you going to fucking come watch TV with me? Like, there's none of that. You come back here and rub my shoulders while I'm editing, and like, I can ignore you and edit, and you still give me affection while I'm doing it. And we have quick little conversations, and we have intimate moments while I'm doing what I'm doing, but you've never once tried to hinder my growth, which in turn is our growth, because the things that I'm doing for the podcast is for us. It's not for me, but it's me doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's never a moment where I feel like, damn, she's really fucking holding me back. It's not the case. I feel like I'm supported. I feel like if I'm editing for 14 hours and I know I'm behind 5 videos and I know that I'm going to spend all that time editing, I could be like, babe, I'm hungry. I don't want to think about lunch. Get food. And I'm going to edit and you're going to get food and we're going to stop. We're going to eat, have a quick little conversation. I'm going to get right back into it. There's never this is all you do. You don't spend time with me. Like, we don't have those conversations. And we do make it a point when we're caught up to do shit. So like we have reasons to live versus just working.
Right.
And that's the goal. You know what I mean? I'm willing to suffer for 2 or 3 years to have 2 to 3 years of not having to work very hard. If we kill ourselves with this podcast, just for example, if we do 3 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we do our live streams, that's our release, right? But if we recorded Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for 2 to 3 hours, and then did Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 2 sessions on top of all of that, and we got a month logged out, we could do this, keep that month backlog, slowly add to that as we do like an extra recording here and there while we're only doing our typical 3 with live streams, eventually get even further out. And then while the money's coming in, we could take a break for like a month and not have to do fucking anything. We could get away with not even doing the live streams if we really wanted to. Mm-hmm. If we got to that big, where we got to the point where we were big enough to do that, and we could pay somebody to edit, right? Like if we recorded a full week's worth of content, call it like 25 hours of video, 26 hours of video, something ridiculous, and I put it all on a drive, I could mail that drive to somebody, priority mail, just make backup of it so that I don't lose it in case the mail gets lost, and they can download it and do all the editing for us. I don't have to edit anymore. But it comes down to having the income to pay people to do those things. And like that takes time. So if we suffer now for 2 to 3 years doing this, eventually we will just be the talent. We'll be able to sit down, answer these emails, have these conversations, and then I can send off the SD cards and be like, deuces, like I don't want to deal with any of this shit.
Right.
Make your clips, handle my TikTok, do all of that. I'll be active in Discord and we'll see you guys on Thursday nights. Like
That would be so dope.
That's why we work as hard as we do now so that we don't have to do the shit later. Because I don't want to work like this in 10 years. If the workload that we have right now is what we're doing 5 years from now, this isn't sustainable. Yeah. It's too much on my plate. Even having AJ and Jennifer is not enough. Having Zeke and Jen A in the Discord, like it's not enough. We need a team. And when this thing starts making stupid fucking money every month, you better believe I'm putting people on payroll. Like it'll be go time. At that point, we will be able to sit down and record for 2 to 3 hours. Disperse.
Having people on payroll would be so dope.
Right. Yep. We're getting there.
Yeah. Having the people help us the way they are now and they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Right.
I don't want them to feel like we're taking advantage. It really, truly means a lot. Right. And being able to put them on payroll and have them doing more because they're not just going to take the money. They want to have the work to back it up. So I know, like Zeke, if he had time to do it, I bet he would edit for us.
I'm sure he would. AJ said that he would actually edit our videos. That was the goal.
Oh, shit.
I just can't get it to him. If we had fiber optic internet, because when we're done, it's about 200 gigs per episode. If I could upload all of that to the Google Drive and he could download it and edit it, upload it back up to YouTube, that's why he's here. Like that's his job. I don't have a way to get him the content. Like his job was marketing, editing, and clipping. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He's missing out on a function of it because I don't have a way to get him the files. They're too fucking big.
Right.
So I pre-edit, get the file from 200 gigs down to like 25, and it still takes 5 hours to upload because I'm on fucking 5G. He asked me if I could take it to the studio and upload it faster from the shop. So I may try that.
That might be worth it.
But I still have to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know. We talked yesterday morning while we were doing cardio about me doing all of our recordings on like an SSD drive and just mailing it to him. But we would have to be backlogged 2 to 3 weeks to mail it. So he's got 2 or 3 days of mail time plus the edit time. Mm-hmm. And then he has to mail the drive back to me so that I can reload it and send it back. Like, it's just a lot. When you look at it like that, it's a lot. But it would decrease our workload and it would allow us to record differently. So we would even be able to put even more content out, which would make us more money. Like
we'd be able to do more live streams because you'd be free at night.
Right, because I wouldn't have to edit. So there's a whole lot that goes into that. Yeah. But as we're able to start paying people, if he moves, I got to be honest, I've thought about buying a Access. That's not the right word. One of those programs that allows you to use somebody else's computer from a distance.
I don't know what that's called.
He does. Not that that matters, but he could basically take control of my computer over the internet. It would give him full access. He could edit from my computer from his house as long as my internet holds up.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, because he'd have full access to my computer.
Right.
But not that I think AJ would do us dirty. It's just one of those weird things.
Yeah, it's not that I don't trust him. It's just I'm not super tech savvy, so I don't know what all is saved to my computer.
Right.
And if somebody who has more knowledge than me is able to get access to that shit, that makes me uncomfortable.
Right. Well, in that scenario, if we never actually went that route, I would just set up a computer that's made to edit, and that would be all it would do.
I think technology in general just makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reread the sentence and continue.
Okay.
I feel like I've outgrown her in many ways, and it often feels like she's holding me back. Despite this, I still love her, and I feel guilty for feeling this way. My wife has what I would describe as a fixed mindset, which can be quite pessimistic at times. She often feels like the world is against her and that she can't grow and improve her life.
She's got a victim mentality.
Let's say she's in that victim mindset. This is exacerbated by the fact that she suffers from bipolar disorder, OCD, and depression, which makes it difficult for her to see things in a positive light. She can be quite morose and withdrawn, which brings me down and makes it difficult to be around her. So you guys have been together for 5 years. Is this how she was 5 years ago? Even 2 years, 3 years ago, when you proposed to her, is this who she was as a human being? Because getting married and having this massive marriage and devoting yourselves to one another is not going to change somebody's mindset long term.
Right. Well, they got married 2 years in.
Right. So they were still in that obsession
right.
phase. But even then, after 2 years, people start to show who they are.
Right. But if you already got plans to get married and things are kind of starting to devolve, you're not going to just jump ship on getting married just because things are a little rocky right now. You assume that you're going to pull through it and everything's going to work out because you still have those blinders.
Yeah.
That negative, pessimistic attitude is a problem for people who are go-getters.
Mm-hmm.
You are who you associate yourself with. So like if you're a go-getter and they're not, eventually they're going to pull you down, especially if you're trying to drag them with you and they're fighting you. It's going to slow you down. Even if it doesn't stop you, it's going to slow you down.
Yeah.
Because you're carrying that dead weight.
Something that could have taken you 5 years to achieve is now going to take you 8 years.
Yeah. Yep.
I've tried to talk to her about her depression and mindset, but it never seems to go anywhere. She brushes off my suggestions that she get help, and she doesn't seem interested in finding solutions to her problems. Instead, she just wants comfort, which is exhausting for me because I feel like I'm dealing with the same issues every day without any real progress.
Right.
This has made me feel like my love for her is slowly fading, and I'm finding myself becoming more and more annoyed by her.
Yep.
I feel like a terrible person for feeling this way, especially because I know she has mental health issues.
Pause. Why do you feel bad? Like, that's a genuine question. Obviously, you're supposed to be for better or for worse, sickness and health. Being depressed and shit like that is a sickness. But she's not willing to do anything about it.
Don't drown for someone who won't stand up in 3 feet of water.
That's it. And you speaking out about the way you feel is not a problem. It's not a bad thing. If you feel the way you feel that.
Yeah.
Your feelings are there to guide you. So it's okay to feel that. And if you are being annoyed by it and you feel like she's being pessimistic and you feel like she's always being a victim and she's not willing to grow and make changes and do things and seek help, she's going to sit stagnant.
Yeah, he needs to tell her.
Right.
You saying that you feel annoyed by her, I would say that to her. I understand that you are going through it and this is very hard for me because it's going to make me sound like a really shitty person. What you are going through and the fact that you don't want to change it is making me not want to be around you.
Right.
It is causing me to become frustrated and I'm starting to get annoyed by all of it. And I don't want to feel this way. I love you. I've devoted myself to you. We need to change this so you don't continue to push me away.
And be prepared for a fight because it's going to cause a whole lot of problems and she's going to really victim guilt trip that shit.
You need to stand your ground. People who are in the throes of their mental illness want to be the victim. They want to be baby. They want you to fix all of their problems when they know deep down only they can fix it, but they don't want to put that work into it.
Right, because it's easier to just sit stagnant than it is to go through the discomfort of change.
It is.
I'm willing to bet in the event that you guys got a divorce, she would probably go to therapy.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to feel like I'm sacrificing my own mental health for someone who doesn't want to change. That's exactly what you're doing.
It is exactly what you're doing.
You're starting to feel that way because that is the situation. There are people out there who will leech off of you and want you to feel as miserable as they're feeling just so they can have somebody go through it with them.
Right. Misery loves company. You're absolutely fucking right.
Don't do that. If you don't want that, don't do that. If she wants to be with somebody who is depressed and it's always woe is me and we can go through things together and we're just going to accept life for what it is, she can have somebody like that. It's not going to be me.
No accountability.
The problem is that I'm still in love with her, and the thought of leaving her scares me. I also feel selfish for prioritizing my own health over hers. I feel stuck and unsure of what to do, and I would appreciate any advice you might give. Thank you for taking the time to read this message, and thank you again for all you do with your podcast.
Have you ever heard the phrase, you can't be in love if you don't love yourself first?
Yes.
Same thing goes with health.
Mm-hmm.
If your mental health is fucked up, you can't help somebody with their mental health.
Right.
You have to prioritize yourself. Your physical health, your mental health matters. Your sleep pattern matters.
Mm-hmm.
Your food, your intake, your nutrients, all that shit matters. You have to take care of you before you can take care of someone else. Here's a perfect example of that. When you're on a fucking airplane and the mask drops, what do they tell you?
Put the kids on first.
They tell you to put
Oh,
yours
your
on.
arms, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I would fail.
They say put your mask on
Yeah.
first and then put your kids on.
Right, because if you're unconscious.
your kids are going to fucking die.
Yeah.
You have to take care of you before you can take care of others. So if your mental health is getting fucked up because of what she's doing, you need to have a conversation about that. It doesn't mean you need a divorce. Mm-hmm. It means you need to fix your shit. And you need to tell her, like, you need to set boundaries. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is fucking me up.
I'm not enabling this anymore.
Right. I want to be with you and I love you and I want to support you the best as I can, but what I'm doing right now is a detriment to me and I can't live like this. So I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to continue to better myself, and you need to start doing X, Y, and Z to better yourself. And if you can't do that, don't expect me to enable your bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Don't complain about shit if you're not willing to take the steps to fix it because you're just whining.
Right. This could go one of two ways. She could step it up, and you guys can have this amazing life together and achieve goals and whatever you want to do. You guys can do it together, or you can continue on your own path, do what you're doing, and she'll be back on the sidelines feeling however she's feeling, and you can't let it affect you.
Right.
If you continue lowering your mental health to satiate hers to make her feel better because she is your wife, all of the goals you have now are going to become unattainable. Mm-hmm. You're going to miss so many opportunities. There's going to be so many doors you walk past that are going to be closed because you're more worried about how she's feeling when she doesn't even care about how she's feeling.
Right. She just accepted it. You remember that movie, The Beach, with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
Where the dude gets bitten by a shark?
That movie was insane.
That motherfucker's screaming and yelling and going through like suffering, infection. He's miserable and doing that over and over and over again. And people are fucking like, somebody put him out of his misery. Put him out of our misery. Like, get him out of here. They end up taking him away from the camp, and the fucking dude dies alone in the woods, and they go back to normal life. When you have somebody that's constantly bringing misery and negativity and drama around you, it will absolutely fuck up your mindset. Mm-hmm. And when you remove that bullshit from you and you can go back to your life, like, you're going to have a better life for it. And I'm not saying you need to divorce your woman. By no means am I saying that.
You need to set boundaries.
But you need to realize that her doing that is absolutely affecting your mental health, and fucking you need to take action one way or another. She needs to go get therapy. You need to start doing a lot more stuff for yourself without her. Start doing self-care. She needs maybe to do self-care. Like, you need to take care of your mental health before you'll ever be able to take care of somebody else's.
Setting these boundaries and putting yourself first is definitely going to cause more rifts in your marriage than what's already happening. One thing you have to tell yourself is when she is past this and recognizes that all of these steps is going to help her mental health, she's going to end up thanking you.
Yeah.
It could take a year. It could take 3 years. She's going to recognize that you putting yourself first is going to be hard for you because it's not easy you're not turning your back on her, but you're setting the boundaries of, I'm not going to enable your depression. I am not going to constantly give you the validation that you're doing everything you can when you're not. I'm going to have expectations of you. And if you can't uphold those expectations, I'm not going to lower mine to satiate you.
Right.
And she will thank you once she's over that hump and she recognizes that her depression was a problem. Right. Because once somebody comes out of a depression, they're going to recognize, fuck, I was the issue. And if that doesn't happen, you're still going to meet your goals and you're going to live your life the way you want to. And it might not be with her by your side. She might be on the bleachers cheering you on. But you can't put what you want in life aside for somebody who doesn't want to have any goals.
Right. And I would also like to point out that you can't force somebody to go to therapy.
You can't.
And you can't force them to get on medication. You can't force them to do something they don't want to do. But you can absolutely give them the ultimatum and be like, look, you need to start fixing yourself because you're starting to bring me down. And if you don't start doing the work to fix you, then I'm not going to be here to do it for you forever. Mm-hmm. Let it be known that this is not acceptable behavior to you. It's wild to me to think that people that have that that love and that passion for each other can be so polar opposite of each other and incompatible.
Right.
Because that's how I view that. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that it would be like somebody who enjoys marathon running and spending hours upon hours on the treadmill, running the neighborhoods, bicycling, doing the triathlete shit, marrying a couch potato that doesn't ever want to leave the house. Like, this is going to be a huge part of this person's life where they're running these marathons and shit. And if the husband doesn't support it or the wife doesn't support it, oh no, my camera just overheated.
That was my camera.
All right, so midpoint, one of my cameras overheated.
Yes.
And I was bitching a minute ago about being sweaty, and I just went and looked, and my air conditioner is not working for some reason. And being in Florida, that means it's probably 80 fucking degrees in here. So, with that being said, we are wrapping up episode 19. Yep. In the middle of a point that I was making.
That sucks.
It does.
We could have kept going.
And I don't remember what it was, but
I don't remember either.
Hopefully you guys got a good amount of content done, and hopefully my camera's not fucking fried.
I hope not.
I do have a backup, but I do not want to buy another camera. So.
Yeah.
Got anything else?
No.
Me either. AC guy's on his way.
I hope they fix it.
We'll see you guys on the live stream.
Farewell.
Deuces.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that, found it entertaining, funny, or even learned something you didn't know before, share it. And if you're not subscribed, why aren't you? And for those of you who want to support us, get access to exclusive content and live streams, we do have a Patreon. All the links are in the description.